This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. That's right. Everybody keeps saying echo, 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 echo. Yeah, I can see it. How's it going? All right, everybody. Well, every Sunday we're doing the Delphi call-in shows. Maybe there'll be a time when we're not doing them, but people seem to want to talk about them on my channel, away from the craziness out there. And like I said last night, the individual who who was that? Well, I guess he's another YouTuber that doesn't have any credibility because they shout out absolute garbage YouTubers. I mean, people that put out false information, claim things that aren't true, claim that they're working with law enforcement and that their videos get approved. Those people are liars. Okay, but when you have somebody shouting them out, they lose all their credibility because that means they don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right, and so that's what we've got here. I'm not going to say, it's the profiler guy. He's just an absolute ridiculous person. I don't know what's going on. If that guy ever did have credibility, he doesn't have any anymore. I'll tell you that right now. So let's see. Yeah, so the way it works is the phone numbers regarding the Delphi case are they're pinned in the chat there, and then the meeting ID and passcode are just on top of the screen. So there you go. And thank you, Miss L. Rodriguez. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just don't understand what's going on with that guy. Right. Well, the truth is the YouTuber out there that everybody's like, oh yeah, wow,
I don't support
keep it southern,
that assault first responders.
He told everybody that he's working with law enforcement and that they approve his videos. That they literally say, yeah, that's great. Okay, well, I messaged one of the people over there in law enforcement that I have contact with, and all they said was, idiot. Okay, so just realize that you got a big, huge grift going on over there. Unfortunately, a lot of people out there got bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. And they're going to probably stick with it because they don't want to be embarrassed in their own mind. All right, Sarah Beth Colagrass. Yeah.
Let's get this party started.
God, I can't believe you guys so many people got suckered in. It's all going to come crashing down at one point, believe me. Yeah, it's going to happen. Yep. Thanks, Kit Kat. Well, maybe not, because there's just a lot of dumb people out there. Yeah, that's one of the problems. Is there's just a lot of dumb people who don't mind that kind of stuff. Hold on. I gotta
Hello,
fix
loves.
that.
Romantic cat face.
And by the way, Cairo has these really amazing butterfly, or moths and butterfly, where he puts them inside a glass with their wings spread out and everything. So he'll probably be selling
Thank you
some of
for
those if you
keeping
guys
it
want to
real.
buy it. At some point. He's got a pretty big collection of them. They're pretty delicate. It's pretty amazing that they were able to do that. Thank you, Tia Marie, Kit Kat, Sarah Beth Colagras, and Cairo. Well, I don't know what he is. He must have been good at one point if he's in articles and he was a profiler. But the fact that he's really interested in total nonsensical garbage videos makes you sort of wonder about his own credibility. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? So, to each his own, I guess. But I'm not going to not say something because it drives me nuts. Not sure why I'm trying to get Google Earth to open up, but it's kind of struggling. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, well, it doesn't matter if you don't know what I'm talking about. I know, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Truth Sleuth. The person that he shouted out is a lunatic, okay? And so, here's the thing, everybody. He shouted me out one time. And he mentioned my name, and right when he mentioned it, I thought, oh, okay, that's pretty cool, I guess. And then he lumped me in with these other people. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm so much better than everybody. What I'm trying to tell you is that I know for a fact that the stuff that they put out is absolute trash, okay, and garbage information. So as soon as he lumped me in with them, he lost all his credibility with me, and it's mind-boggling. It's like, where in the hell did you come up with that? So it's really wild. All right. So anyways, if you guys want to call in about the Delphi case, you got the pinned phone numbers at the top. So you click on that comment and you can read the numbers. And then up on the top of the screen are the passcode and the ID. A lot of people who have Zoom, they just put in the meeting ID and they come in. Yeah, it's crazy. So hold on one second. Oh yeah, so I went golfing today and I did better than last week, but ended up only shooting an 81. I was like, But I gotta tell you, I had probably... I don't want to slow down chat. I probably got the best bogey of my life. Even though I don't like bogeys, it was incredible. Alright? That's all I can tell you is I teed off. I went under a tree. I went right into a clump of trees. Then I had to get down there and hunch over and just kind of tap the ball out from under the trees on a par 5, right? So then I'm like 300 yards out, and I hit a 3-wood into the water. So now my third shot goes into the water. You get 4th penalty, and I'm hitting 5 from about 150 yards out. And I hit this ball, it rolled in, and I got it to within 6 feet, and then boom, made that putt. So it was like, oh, all I got was a bogey. I mean, I could have got like a triple or quad on that sucker. Oh, you want me to do it? Okay, I'll do the overview on Delphi really quick. All right, so here we go. Especially since Becca's watching, man. We're gonna have, oh, here we go. All right, Cairo? All right, so this is February 13th, 2017, at about noon-ish, right around that time. Well, the girls were, Abby and Libby were both hanging out over at Libby's house. That's actually Becky, the grandmother's house, who's actually the legal guardian, which the parent, okay? And so they were hanging out, and they at one point they were doing some work for their mom, or for Becky, the grandmother. But I kind of always referred to her as the mom because that's who, I think the mother is the person who takes care of a child. Okay, so they were hanging out, and then right around, right noonish, they said, "Hey, let's go to the bridge, the Monon High Bridge," and kids go there all the time, and they had gone there all the time too. So when you get the holier than thou saying, "Why would they be allowed to go there?" Well, that's just because you're trying to make you look better. Okay, they went to the bridge all the time. They take photographs. Libby and Kelsey used to go to the bridge all the time. Kelsey's the older sister of Libby, and they used to go there all the time. And Abby didn't really go there that much, but she wanted to go there this day with Libby. So they left the house. Well, they could only go on this trip if they had a ride back and also a ride there and a ride home. Okay, so the ride there was secured with Kelsey. She was going to drop them off, and then Derrick, the biological father, who also lived in the house, he didn't have custody though at the time, because him and his wife Carrie, or I don't know if they were ever married, but Carrie, the biological mother, she left town, and she lost custody too. So, but Becky was taking care of them. So probably at around about 1:25, they left the house, and they drove like this. Took this green route right here. Drove all the way around. I've got a video of the exact route. Becky did it for me. And you're on this route right here. And then this purple route is a route that they would take sometimes too, but that isn't the one that they took that day. This was where they searched though later. Okay, so on this green route, right down into this area, past the cemetery, this is 300 right here. And then here's the parking spot right here. And this is where they were dropped off at, I think, 1:37. And then Kelsey took off to, I think it was to be with their boyfriend for a little bit before she went to work. And then the girls walked down the trail. And then at 2:07, on the bridge here, there's a photograph taken of the full length of the bridge, right in this position right here. And it's filming back that way, like that. Okay, so it was in the direction that they were going. They walk across, took that picture. Then Libby is standing right here. That picture was probably like 2:02 or something. And then at 2:07, Libby's standing on this platform, filming Abby standing right there, filming back the direction they were coming from. Then they both turn around and continue on across the bridge like that. Let me get the photograph. Somebody called in, but I'm going to finish this part here really quick. Yeah, hold on a second. I want to show you the actual picture so you can see it. Hold on. There's one of them. So here's one of the images. This is the one that was taken at 2:07, right there. So people go, "Oh, look, there's a person standing there behind the tree." No, that's not. There's nobody standing behind the tree. There's nobody visible in this shot, okay, other than Abby right here. So this is the way they came, like this. And this is the second photograph taken at 2:07. Then they turn around and continue on across the bridge. And the first photograph taken, let me see if I do have that one in here too. I wasn't going to do a summary here. Here it is. It's right here. So that's the very first one. That's the full length of the bridge. Now see this platform right there? That's the platform that Libby's on in the next photograph, filming back this direction. So right now, in this photograph, she's standing on this platform, filming back towards Abby as she walks across. And that's right here. There's the platform, filming back. And then they continue on across the bridge, all the way over to the other side. And then at some point, I believe, the suspect was way back here following, because you can see through these trees and could see that they were on the bridge. And then at some point started walking across the bridge, and then the girls made their way all the way to the end. They probably didn't want to cross him while he was on the bridge. And on this side right here, this is where, right at the end of the bridge, standing off the edge of the bridge, Libby takes a video of the suspect, who's about 60 feet away, just past platform 6. And Abby's still on the bridge, but law enforcement has cropped her out, and all we see in the suspect video, which is right here, let me play that. See, this is the actual video right there that you're seeing. That's the video on the bridge, and I overlaid it against the photograph to sort of put it in perspective. Okay, it's not absolutely perfect or anything like that, but this is the video that Libby filmed, and it also has audio. There's audio in the video. All right? And even with the audio and the video, nobody's been able to identify that person. But as he caught up to them, he said, "Hey guys," and then down the hill. So that's actually the audio. Then he had him go down the hill right here. And then they ended up being found here the following day, murdered. They were both killed right there. So they were taken down a hill and then another hill on the other side of the private drive. So there's a hill there, then there. And I've always thought that maybe he meant to bring him here. They made a run for it. He caught him over here, then killed him. Derrick shows up to pick them up at 3:15, 3:14 and some odd seconds is when he showed up in the parking area here. And then he walked to the path right here. The flannel shirt guy was somewhere in this area. He asked him, "Hey, did you see anybody down there at the bridge?" And he said, "No, I didn't. I saw a man and a woman, a couple, but I didn't see any girls." So he did say he saw two different people. So at that point, that's when Derrick said, "Oh, so they must not be at the bridge." And then he went, they must not have crossed the bridge or be in that area. So he walked down this other path right here, and he went down to the water. Then he walked back up, and then he went all the way from here. Oh, you guys can't see it. Excuse me. Now I have to go back and show you this whole damn thing again. I was showing you guys the guy. All right. I have to show you this part again. I know you can't see it. So Derrick got dropped off. He shows up right here at about 3:15, gets out of his car, talks to the flannel shirt guy right there. The flannel shirt guy only saw a couple at the bridge. So then Derrick decided to walk down this other path that's right along here, I think 505, down here, and he didn't find them. Then he walks back up, and he gets back up here at about 3:30, and then he heads on over to the Freedom Bridge, and he didn't see anything. Then he came back, and he was in the parking area at about 4, and that's when people started showing up. He called people. Yeah, I said the flannel shirt guy. So there you go. All right. And they didn't see anybody. Everybody started searching. Nobody found the girls the first night. Then the following day, they did find them. The searchers did, around noon. All right. So anyways, let me get one of these Zoom calls. Okay. Hey, who's this? Oh, yeah. Well, you don't sound... Yeah, what about it? What about it? Oh, yeah? Okay. Yeah, this is a show for adults, though, unfortunately. It's like, I'm not going to allow, I can't put you on, so. Yeah. Yeah, that was a kid calling. So I didn't want a kid calling on this case. It's for adults only. Yeah, we don't put in... Yes, we've already talked about him, Rebecca. I did a whole show on that. But we don't know anything about it other than that he kidnapped an 8-year-old girl, and that's it. There's a lot of people that do that, unfortunately. Yeah, you should try watching the channel every once in a while. You might have seen that we discuss it for 4 hours. All right. So somebody else hung up. I don't know who that was, but now one of the interesting parts about it is that one time Cairo was out there, and I wanted him to check these various buildings here for surveillance cameras because law enforcement said that they want to know who the driver of the vehicle that was parked at the abandoned CPS building. Based on that wording, I was thinking that meant that they believe that the killer actually was parked there, and they know what kind of vehicle it was because they could see it, and they could see somebody get into that vehicle from a distance. And that because of that, I thought, well, gosh, they must be able to see it. Hey, thanks, Amber made it. Oh, I don't.
Thanks for all that you do, even putting up with us freaks.
Well, I'm not putting up with you guys. I like you guys. I even like Zozo. She's cool too. Thanks, Daniel Maynard. Yeah. William Zambrano, though. Come on, William. William sent me an email saying, "Hey, look at that picture of Abby. I see somebody behind that tree." And I just couldn't believe it. It's like, come on, William, haven't you seen that I've debunked that 1,000 times? All right, so I believe that it meant that they could see a vehicle parked here and that they could see somebody get into that vehicle, but they're just not showing it to us because it doesn't give you a better look than what we've already seen. Now, the interesting part was when he went there, Cairo, there's a surveillance camera. I actually think that little tiny white part that sticks out is probably it from above. But there's a surveillance camera that from right here, this is what it would film. Watch this. It's aimed at it, so you know for sure it's going to get this direction. And then it's going to go probably about like this, and then like that. And look what's right in the middle of that sucker. It's right where the vehicle was parked at the abandoned CPS building. All right? So I think that's interesting. There was also another camera on this building, right in the front of it, facing the road right here. So had he somehow walked like this and then cut across, which is a possibility, he might have been caught on that camera, but that would have been a lot closer, and they might have released that one. Yeah, there's no van. There's nothing like that. Yeah. You guys, see, here's the problem, everybody. There's these people out there that put videos out there, and they say it with a tone that sounds absolutely factual, as if it's real. And everybody believes that because they want to. The way you call in is what do you call it? the post at the top of the chat there. You see that? Right here, watch. Right there. That has the phone numbers, and then on the screen is the meeting ID and the passcode. Okay? There you go. I do have StreamYards. I've had it for a while, but I got the professional version, so it might be easier at some point because all that is a link. The audio is nowhere near as good, though. That's the problem. And then you end up with those panels. If you want to. You don't have to have panels. You can add people. Yeah, there you go. That's right. Yeah, so that's how you call in. The pinned post in the chat are the phone numbers, and then you just look up at the big numbers on the screen where you have the meeting ID and the passcode. That's about it. Peak Memo, that's about it, yeah. Unfortunately, everybody believes in the grift over there. It's unbelievable. Yeah, who cares about... I can tell you this. I don't have all the, like, woo, the bells and whistle graphics. But I produce some really accurate stuff. Like, really things that are useful. Not just, hey, with a, like a... I don't even know how to explain it, man. If you can't see it, then you can't see it. But let me show you what I'm talking about here. I actually went to the Art Institute for 2 years. I learned animation and media arts. And prior to that, I had taught myself animation with a program called Poser and Raydream 3D Studio and Bryce 3D years and years ago. And that's when I started using them to reconstruct crime scenes and use for representative purposes. All right, I do have a call here. Let's see. Is it going to be a troll again? Yeah. We always get people calling in that have pictures. All right, Jeremy, what's going on? Oh, it's another kid. Yeah, we can't do the. Oh man. Got kids calling in. Any adults out there? Yeah, this is for adults only. I even put it in the description. Let me get the... I'll show you the one that I made on the bridge. God. Okay, it's this one right here. So this is a good one to show you what's going on the bridge, okay? So here we go. So this is on the bridge. I had to put the shadows in and everything. It was really tough. That made it take forever. That's the only way to make it look real. So that's the first photo taken on the bridge. That's a little bit after platform 2 when she kneeled down there. Then they continue on, and then they get to platform 3, and Libby stands on that one, turns around. She's a lot closer than that, though. She's probably more like right up in there. But this is just representative. And that's the photograph taken back like that. And then you go back. Then they continue on across the bridge. Now this is way at the end. Now this is where I think there was a guy. The killer was walking towards them, and they saw him, and then they make it to the end of the bridge. Libby's standing right off the end of the bridge, holding the camera down low, and this guy kind of just he shows up quick, and he's kind of walking up to him. I had a hard time doing the bulge part, but yeah, so there you go. All right, here we go. See if we got a legit call this time. All right, 954. Pretty good. Who's this?
I was calling in because I was wondering if it was possible to just like check the cell phones that were pinging to the towers in the area, because they did it with the Capitol riot. They were able to track people that way. So
yeah, they did do that. They actually did. They did like a cell phone data dump. Got everything that pinged in the area. And if he was a smart killer, though, he wouldn't have a cell phone with him.
But I don't think he was an impromptu. I mean, I think he was an impromptu killer. I don't think he was going there.
Oh, I don't.
With that intent.
What makes you think that?
Because it just seems like it was by chance that he just came across those specific girls.
What don't you think? What if he just sat there and waited for the chance? Like, I think that he sat there and he kept making sure that anybody that had gone past him had come back. So he was well aware of who was on the trails and who wasn't. Like, he knew that there was nobody in front of the girls, and when the girls went alone in front of him, he knew that there was nobody there, and he kind of kept following from a distance. And then when they went onto the bridge, he started following when they were already over halfway across. And then they probably hustled across. I mean, I'm not saying it's not impossible what you're saying. It just seems that's even more random. Like, he's just...
Well, the only thing that I'm thinking is that if that were the case, he would have taken their cell phone. If he were just...
Well, only one of them had a phone. And she was hiding her phone.
But he would have seen them recording.
Well, no, but she held it down low to hide it from him.
But once he killed them, I'm sure they would have dropped the phone, or
yeah, maybe,
I'm pretty sure
if
he was aware.
Yeah. Or she dropped the phone somewhere else because she put her phone, I think, in her pocket right after she filmed him. So he might not have been aware of it.
I mean, I just think that because they were recording, like it was pretty obvious. They didn't get a good picture of him, but I feel like if he were that smart and calculated, that he would have noticed that they had a phone on them.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that. You know, you're not like, it's not a unique comment to say, oh, I think that he would have noticed the phone. You know, it's also possible that he did notice the phone. He just didn't know that they filmed him, and if by taking the phone, it might lead to where he was. So let's say he picked up the phone on the ground and he walked away with it. Well, then now he can be tracked with it, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe let's just say in the other way, he did see the phone, but he didn't know that they filmed him. Like, he just thought it was in her pocket. He didn't see it when she had it down low and then put it in her pocket, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, I
think it's also possible that he may be a transient person that doesn't have a phone, because the majority of people have cell phones. So maybe he's a transient that doesn't actually carry a phone.
Yeah, I mean, well, what's funny is my very first 4 years ago when it first happened, I thought he looked like a sort of something like in that ballpark, right? So the thing is sure. What you're saying is possible. Like, you think that, but here's what I would say. If somebody's a killer and they know that they're going to be killing, why would you bring your phone with you?
Most people do. They just don't even think about that.
Not the smart ones. Not the serial killer types. They always
are the ones we never catch.
And that's why we haven't caught this guy. You notice that?
Could be.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Like, we haven't caught this guy. He could be a serial killer type, because he did leave signatures. And a person like that is going to be a little bit more aware of what they're doing. I think if you're a criminal and you have your phone on, it's just like, you're so dumb. It's unbelievable. You know?
Well, then, but not a lot of people even know that they ping like cell towers. I see it all the time in these crime shows. But
that's what I mean. It's weird that people don't know it. You know,
I've seen with certain criminals, serial killers, some of them do things to mask their identity. Like there was one, I think the Green River Killer, or one of them. He would carry things like cigarettes because he didn't smoke, and he would like try to throw people off the trail. So he could potentially be trying to outsmart them. But it's just interesting because an innocent man would have came forward and said, yes, I was the guy on the bridge. I didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, no, but here's the thing is they know for sure based on the timing of the guy, you know, the killer on the bridge. I always say the guy on the bridge, and then we go back to bridge guy. But anyways, the guy on the bridge, they know that he's the killer because he's the guy on the camera, and then literally seconds later he says, hey guys, then down the hill, right? It's and they can kind of probably still track his feet. You know, she had the phone down really low, and I guess at some point, this is what I heard, you could see just kind of feet and things like that. And then he kind of, you know, says, hey guys, and then pulls out a gun and has them go down the hill, right? So there's no doubt that that person that we're looking at is the killer, okay? There's zero doubt about that. You know, when people say, well, we're not really sure. Well, there is no doubt that that person is at least involved in the killing of the two girls. If you want to believe that there's another person, you can go ahead. But that guy in the video and the voice are the same person, and they are responsible for their murders.
But he was also kind of holding his head down, so they couldn't get like a clear picture of him. So do you think that he may have seen the camera?
No, I mean, he kind of had his, well, she had her camera really kind of right next to her leg and down low, so it didn't look like a natural camera position to be holding. And plus she was off the end of the bridge, so the camera was right at the height of the bridge level at that point. So to me it makes sense that maybe he didn't notice the phone, but even if he did notice the phone, you're assuming that he saw her film him, right?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I don't think he did. That's my opinion. And I think if he did, he would have taken the phone and then crushed it somewhere. I don't think he would have left it sitting there. I think it's really possible that she put the phone in her pocket and then at some point it sort of fell out onto the ground. Maybe she, you know, I don't know how deep the pockets were.
But wouldn't there be video of that if it was still recording?
Well, I think there is.
On the ground?
I think there's video of dark video with just audio. It doesn't just end right after he says down the hill. There's audio and darkness after that. Plus, there was other photos taken with the phone during that time that they were there, not just the two.
Well, I wanted to just say before I get off the phone, I wanted to say I really appreciate your work, especially what you did with the Hart family. It was very, very detailed and informative, and I really appreciate it. If anyone's going to find this guy, I think that you guys will be able to.
Oh, cool. Well, the Hart family, so you were able to sit through my long shows that I do. All right.
I watched all of it.
Well, good. A lot of people, they go, it's too long. I don't want to. But see, I just have my own genre, right? Like I do 3-hour live shows every single night, go over a whole bunch of different cases, sometimes stick with one for a while. But some people like the 20-minute short video, right?
No, because sometimes there's not enough information. So I would prefer if there's everything rather than just having everything summed up, because then you can form your own opinion. Yeah,
like I like working through it with everybody. Like we're just kind of figuring it out, and you know, I try to come up with my own conclusions, really. And then if somebody says something that is contradictory, that makes more sense than what I said, I'll switch right over to that. See, I'm not married to an idea. I have to see something proven that's a better idea. Then I'll go, oh yeah, wow, okay, that makes a hell of a lot more sense. And then that's how you get to figure things out to a point where you're very accurate when it's all said and done. Like we kind of knew in the Hart case exactly what was going on, pretty much almost. It was weird. Within the first evening we were covering it, I knew exactly what type of people those parents were. But it was interesting putting it all together. And it's sad
because there's so many more people that are just like them,
right?
Yeah. But it seems like you really can't get involved until afterwards. And that's the tragedy of the whole thing, because there were so many warning signs.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are scared to come forward, like that neighbor, you know, how he didn't say anything the first time. And then when his dad was over, that's when he came forward and said, hey, you know, there's some really weird stuff going on over here. And then finally they got, you know, they came out, but it was too late. They had just taken off. It was wild.
And we'd like to think that we'd all be people that would get involved. And I try to be that person. You know, I heard like a child screaming by my house a couple months ago. And because of your video, I'm like, no, I'm gonna just call 911 and report it. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I really appreciate what you're doing, because even in that little example, like it's important to make people aware that there are bad people out here, and get involved.
That's right.
From a safe distance, if you have to.
Yeah, and there's some. I think there's more creepy. There's a lot more crappy people out there than people really think there are. That's the thing about it. I mean, there might be less to some people than you think, but man, it's pretty wild. The number of.
I really hope they find the killer of those girls.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he didn't just stop there. If he was bold enough to do that then, I'm sure he's still out there doing it. And another thing that I was thinking about is it seems like we've forgotten that serial killers exist, right? Mm-hmm. Like, they've existed all throughout history. But it seems like in this current landscape, no one's focusing on serial killers. I'm sure there's someone that's active right now.
Yeah, we did kind of an interesting one last night on a serial killer that I've never even... a suspected serial killer that I'd never even heard of. It was a crazy show. This guy, he's probably killed dozens of people, but they had 6 people that they think he was involved, but they only have him for 1 murder and 1 rape at this point. But anyways, well, hey, that was a cool call. I really appreciate your kind words, and
you're welcome.
Thank you. I can't dispute your theories. So.
Okay, I'll be watching.
All right, well, thanks.
Good night.
Yeah, good night. See you later. That was a good call. All right, Jen H.
Fuck you, bitch.
Oh. Yeah, see, that was that little kid again. That wasn't really Jen H, though. It was some troll. Isn't that weird? Like, why is it my show gets these people? Ah, jeez. Yeah, that was a cool show last night. Hey, thanks, Joshua Long.
_basic generous.
Yeah, there was other people on hold, and they all just left at the same time. Yeah, the person used Jen H's name. I don't even... and they pretended to be you, so I was like, oh, that'd be cool. It's Jen H, but it was a troll. Yeah. I know Jen H is a little nicer than that. Yeah. Yeah, and then there's other people out there, I'm not sure if he called him Eastside Bill. He thinks that the killer was waiting over on this side the whole time, and then the girls walked over, and then he sort of like a spider came out and pounced on him. The only problem I have with that is that he's filmed right here coming towards them, and they're already almost off the bridge. So why would he walk past them and go way over there, then turn around again? He would just be standing here waiting for them to come off, and then pull out a gun and say, hey, down the hill, and just take a glance across the bridge. He wouldn't need to be walking across. Thanks, Dustin Schaefer. So hey, Cairo, is it? Oh wait, hold on.
That little hooligan needs his mouth washed out with soap.
Yeah. 304.
Hey, what's up?
That was you. That was funny. I was just gonna mention you again. Did she get a good recap there? I mean, it was kind of a quick one.
She did get a good recap.
Okay.
When you hung up on that idiot,
Yeah.
It just knocked me out. I don't know why.
Oh, really? Weird. Huh.
Yeah, it just said goodbye and hung up the phone.
Oh.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Oh, that's bizarre. Okay. Huh.
I agree. But yes, she got a very good recap. And actually, it's funny because when we go like on a long drive, I'll be like, hey, let's listen to something. And I'll be like just droning on and on, pausing whatever we're listening to about true crime and just interjecting my opinion.
Yeah.
And she always just comes with a nugget of gold that I never thought of. And she just did during this.
Oh, yeah? What's
And
that?
I thought, you know what? I will call with that nugget of gold.
God, I hope it's a nugget. Let's
She
hear
went,
it.
she said, what about Chris Watts? No,
Oh,
I'm joking.
God.
No,
Yeah.
no. But she said, well, if this scumbag was on the edge of the bridge or just like, you know, following them throughout. And like, not that I think the phone really has anything to do with anything, but he probably would have seen them taking pictures on the bridge and shit like that. Like, I never thought about it like that. Like, if the dude was really watching them that close, he probably would have seen them taking pictures, posing,
Oh, yeah.
her getting back, and
Yeah,
like,
he was probably watching them the
thought of
whole
it.
time they were walking down the trail. And, you know, I'm sure he was watching from, you know, back in the woods, seeing, you know, just kind of knowing that what they were doing, you know. So he's, you know, the thing is if we had like 6K video, maybe you could see him way back between the trees, watching from way in the back. Right. But we don't have that. We have an image. I'm just saying. You know?
All I'm saying is like, I've never like put so much thought into like whether or not he knew the phone existed, and like like you said, maybe he thought picking up that phone and taking it with him, it would have just tracked him.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know,
like if he was watching, he would have seen that they did have a phone because he was taking pictures.
Yeah, they were taking pictures and posting to Snapchat. Like, if he was watching them that close, then he probably did know. He might not have known that they were recording him. Obviously, he didn't, because as you said, you know, it was clandestinely recording. But, like, he knew, I'm sure if he was watching them that close, he knew there was a phone involved. And not that, like, I think it breaks the case wide open, but like, just her putting it that way made me go, holy shit, you're right. If he was watching them,
only one of
probably
them,
saw him taking pictures.
Only one had a phone, though. Right, so...
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
So she's taking pictures, so...
Come on.
Well, I'm just saying, so let's say she was taking pictures and they could see... Yeah, I mean, but maybe he was just sort of hyper-focused on getting them, not really like, what are they doing type of thing, right? So even if he got him across and, you know... If he saw the phone, maybe he just didn't think they filmed him, so why take it? Right? Because at the end, she was hiding it. She had it down low. So, you know, it's definitely possible that he knew that they were using the phone. I just don't think it's that weird that it would be left in the area.
No, I don't either. Yeah. Especially, like, he does look like an older gentleman to me, and I guess older gentlemen might not understand technology, but like I said in the chat earlier, like, he doesn't have to be a super genius to get away with it. I mean, 40% of murders in America are unsolved, so like,
wow,
a lot of idiots, you know, get away with it.
Yeah.
It just sucks. I wish that like in the Mahalovic case, how they waited like 26 years to release the information about the curtains that were right next to her body. Like, someone could have recognized those 26 years ago. Like, I hope they don't do that here, and they just actually, like, eventually just put the information out there and let, you know, citizen detectives such as yourself, like, actually, like, have some info and do something about it. It's crazy.
Somebody just in the chat said, I thought the phone was found in the kill zone. Oh, God. The kill zone? Come on. What? Let me guess. I know what channel they've been watching. Oh,
I heard a ding. I heard a ding, so I'm going to go ahead and let you get that other call. So
I don't see it, but tell Becky
But
that
no,
was
I
good.
just-
Good thoughts there, because then that does mean it's
That-
more likely that he saw the phone, right?
dude, I'm telling you, like, we'll just be listening to something, and she'll just be like, and she'll come with some stuff that I would never think of, like, well, if the shampoo bottle was unopened, well, then it means this. Just something as a guy I would never think of, and she just like throws it out there like it was obvious, and I'm like, what the? I never thought of that.
It must be
like, the shampoo bottle
it's
would
girl
be
code.
open.
It's girl code, right?
It's girl code. It's total girl code.
They just know. They just know shit.
Right.
They just know stuff that we don't. That's weird.
That I think you're 100% correct. Correct.
All right.
All right, man. I'll let you go.
Yeah, thanks. See you later. Bye.
All right, bye.
Gray, your digital DNA department seems to be light on funds. This
Listen.
should about cover it, zany face.
Thanks, Lynette Burns. And Cat White above. And Michelle Nicholas and William Zambrano, the guy behind the tree. I just brought that up, William. I said, William actually said, hey, I see somebody behind the tree. I made an entire debunking video about that. There's nobody behind that tree. A lot of editing's been going on. And it, sort of looked like a blue jacket and that kind of stuff, but that's not what it is. I've actually, there's a video that I have out there where I walk right, the
Never
video
fear the
itself
mean
is
what
going
is
right
here,
by,
hey,
you can see
everyone.
it.
I
What-
love you all. Kissing face.
All right, Michelle Nicholas. Yes, Generous Freaks. Susie Heath, Allie Cake, Leah Marie.
Hey everyone, how goes it, Gray? Awesome show. Thumbs up.
Awesome. Oh wait, hold on. I got another call here. I'll just wait in a second. So you'll be on in just a minute. 774. I get nervous when there's names that people when the call comes in and it's a name. Like before. Yeah. The only thing you can do with the video or audio or the video or the images is just change contrast and that kind of thing. But when you blow it up, add filters, do this and that and the other thing, there's nobody there. Okay. I'll show you guys later. I had a video that was made actually by what's her name again? Ah, crap.
Hugging face.
Julie
Heart. Palm tree.
something. Melvin. Yeah, she made me a video. She went out there and filmed it for me and then gave it to me. And she goes back and forth. It's HD. You can get a really good feel for the bridge watching. Thanks, Charleston Amy and Rita Mazaron. Okay, hold on a second. All right, 774, you're on. Oh, yeah? Corey from Massachusetts?
I called in. Yeah, I called in a couple weeks ago. I got a migraine tonight. Bear with me. But what was I gonna say? So I've been trying to think about the signatures and the stuff that I think it was Robert Ives had said about the crime scene and how things were peculiar and
Odd.
things that, yeah, I'm not sure what his exact words were. Things that you wouldn't necessarily expect to find at a crime scene, right?
Yeah.
And I cannot come up with anything. I can't come up with anything that would make sense that would fit those words for a crime scene. Like, what did the guy do? Did he eat a sandwich afterwards and leave the crust behind? Like, what would you not expect to find at a crime scene? Do you have any opinion on what that...
Yeah, I don't know. Well, what he said on my, the podcast that Morph and, that I think it was called Scene of the Crime, Delphi. I've said that the crime scene was really odd. It was just very odd. See, he didn't say anything to us about signatures. Then later he said, you know, there were signatures. You could think of 3 signatures, things that you could actually take photographs of. So maybe it's some kind of a symbol of some sort. I mean, I'm just totally guessing. I have no idea. There was, this is something that really happened. I really saw it. There was an article put out, and they were quoting and discussing with Ives, and it said that the signatures were non-secular, which mean religious in nature. However,
I heard that.
However, they were removed from the article, and so I don't know.
Which kind of gives it more credence.
Well, maybe it could mean that it was an error, or it could mean that it was something that wasn't supposed to be put out and was removed. You know, so it's like
Right.
It's 50-50 for me. I don't know which one to give more weight to. And so that would just
Which
be
is strange, too. I have trouble trying to figure out what you would find at a crime scene as a signature that would ring a bell in your head that would make you go, how do I describe this? Oh, non-secular. That's the word. Like, what?
Yeah.
What do you see that makes you go, oh, that's non-secular?
Well,
Like,
most of the
huh?
people would say
That's
you just say religious. You would say, oh wow, it's religious in nature. You know, I mean, I guess if
That's
you're
a very specific word to use to describe. Like, I can't see how that would be a mistake added in. It's a long word to add in on accident.
well, it could have been that the writer
To an article.
Yeah, or you know, like the writer thought he said there was religious things, so they typed in non-secular. That almost seems like something a writer would put in. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it is kind of odd. I just because they took it out and it wasn't part of the final article. It's hard to know. I don't even. And what do you do with that either? Just speculate all what the symbols were. It's a total waste of time. That part's a waste of time. But what they should do is put the signatures out there. Like, we should get to see what the signatures were. And
I think we all think that, yeah.
And I'm not saying that because I want to know something. I'm saying it because I think that if there are signatures that are of that nature, that the person, the killer, may have drawn or placed those same symbols or whatever the hell it is somewhere else, and somebody would go, you know what? I always thought this guy. I always thought this guy kind of looked like the killer, but now when you brought these out, this guy has these all over his mantle at home. You know, these little.
He's got these posters all over his room.
Yeah, something. Yeah, something like that.
He did that same symbol.
Exactly. Yeah.
Trying to think, what was the other thing I was going to say? So you were talking to the first caller, and she had put forward.
Yeah, hold on one second. Thanks, JK. Gonna read. Thanks, buddy. Okay, hold on a second.
Hello, who's EE and Freak family. I truly hope this case is solved in 2021. I wish they would put something of substance or evidentiary value out to the public.
Yeah.
As time passes, memories fade.
That's right. Yeah, I agree with that. And thank you very much, J Case. I think I might. I think it might be solved this year. I was feeling pretty good about it. We still got 8 more, 7 months. Anyways, what were you going to say about the first caller?
She had said that she thought maybe that it was random, not premeditated, not planned, or not that the guy had intended on going there to kill someone that day, but that maybe it just was opportunity and chance, and that you'd said that you didn't believe that. And
it's possible.
I just kind of ran a scenario in my head where maybe this guy just went for a walk in the park and had a chip on his shoulder, walks by these girls, says hi, and as they're passing, he hears them laughing, giggling about something, and, this is somebody's laughing at me again. Yeah. This is the last time somebody's going to laugh at me.
I get what you're saying, but here's the thing. But then why? Look at. I mean, I actually think some of those theories would be more likely, or not more likely, but possible. Like not even that weird. except for the fact that there's signatures at the crime scene. Like, what would make, if that was just some random killing and the guy was just sitting there walking around, oh yeah, and then he kills and rapes him, why would he be, it seems like he was ready to go that day. Like, he had stuff underneath that jacket. He had a gun, he had
He definitely
stuff.
had something under that jacket. I thought that last time you played a clip of him walking, like just now, I was looking at his coat and I'm like, what is under there? Like, what? 'Cause it's not his stomach. He doesn't have some oddly shaped, bulging, like there's something there. Like, on his right side. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just speculation, but it looks like he's just got stuff jammed under his, like, the stomach of his jacket.
Yeah, and I think he's got something propped up. I think he's propping up a gun or something under. The law enforcement says that they can hear a click, and that they think that was a gun. And apparently, Abby said at one point, "That's a gun. I think he's got a gun." Something like that. That's not something we get to hear, but I have this.
And
I
we
actually
still
have notes.
don't know the manner of death.
Yeah, I have notes from somebody from way at the very beginning, who was friends with somebody who saw the video and explained to her exactly what was on it, and every single other item was accurate. So everything that she tells me, I think, is really what was on it. And that was one of the things that Abby said something about a gun. They were wondering, hey, is that the guy? He's still following us. They were talking about what direction to go. They got the families to watch it because they wanted to have them tell them what they heard the girls saying. So that was one.
See, the way that's said is that, like, I know that's not like verbatim, like maybe necessarily exactly what they said word for word, but if they said something to the effect of that guy's still following us, makes it sound like
you saw him before.
It's not a
they
Jim
passed
around.
him before.
Yeah.
Right. So if they like I said, if like I was like speculating, if they had passed him and he says hi and then and they keep going and they're like, oh, that guy's creepy, and they giggle, and then he's like, these little girls are making fun of me, and he turns around and I guess all the speculation that's been said about the way the bodies or for the condition of the bodies, like whatever, the speculation about the manner of how he killed them, it all seems pretty violent. So it leads me to believe, like, what we have seems like it may have been done out of anger. And so I lost my train of thought, but
yeah.
But so he turns around, and then so them saying is that he's behind us again, he's following us still, could lead more credence to they passed him previously and pissed him off somehow. Not that it's their fault, obviously. Like, this guy's just a psycho, but
Yeah, I think they probably saw him on the trail. It took them 30 minutes. It's only a 6-minute walk from where they were dropped off to the start of the bridge if you just walk. However, they took them 30 minutes to take that first photograph. And so there must have been some lollygagging, whatever the hell my mom would say, lollygagging. But like time wasted walking down the trail, taking photos, goofing around. And then you get to
they're just hanging out.
Yeah, because they're just having fun. They're not like, hey, hurry up, let's hustle. Like they're not on a mission to get to the bridge, right? They're just taking photographs, whimsically playing, and you can even see that in Abby's photo. She's looking down, hands in the pocket, kind of half smiling. They're just having fun, right? But maybe before that, there was this creepy guy they saw. And then, he stayed back, so they kind of kept walking, and maybe they talked about him for a minute. Wow, what a creep. But then they started taking photos, and like kids do, their attention spans are like a minute. And they just start doing other things, and then they're going across the bridge. Now they see the same guy that was the creepy
and he's
guy.
lurking.
Yeah, now he's coming across the bridge towards them. And now she's like, God, he's right behind us now.
On a mission.
Yeah, right. So that's kind of how I visualize it. I don't know if that's accurate at all. Like people do say, I'm not saying it's impossible, but there could have been he could have been on the other side of the bridge. It just doesn't make sense to me that way. Especially another comment like, he's right behind us, isn't he? Well, you wouldn't have said that if he was already on the southeast side, then passed you really quick and then turned around. I think you'd be in a different mode.
He must have been gone at one point and then back again.
Right. Like, see, he hung back way down the trail, and when they were on the bridge, they couldn't see him, and you can tell in the photographs you can't see him anywhere. And then eventually he shows up when they're further across.
What was it? Another counterpoint to maybe that this wasn't as planned as this wasn't as planned as it might have been would be that if he had been stalking them or he had been casing the place all day and this was his perfect opportunity and this is the moment he had been waiting for to pull this off, but then however long it is, 10 minutes later, he's doing his thing, he's doing whatever he's doing with them, and now there's other people on the bridge and they're
he couldn't. That's the only thing he couldn't plan. But the other part, he knew nobody was in front of him, and he got him across. So he was already. The photo was 2:06. If you walk at a brisk pace, just kind of walk, it takes like 4 or 5 minutes to walk across that bridge. So the thing is at 2:06 they take the picture. So let's just give them 15 minutes to get. They're already 40% away across. So that would only really take 3 minutes. But let's say 15. Let's say they get on the other side at about 2:20. And then he has them go down the hill. He has them over there for a half hour before at 3 o'clock. Although, when you look at it like that, at 3 o'clock, the Cheyenne, the individual named Cheyenne, was all the way across the bridge. That means she was probably on the other end at about 2:50 something. So it's kind of interesting. But there is about a half hour of time where there was nobody.
Right. I had listened to something else where they were breaking down the mentality of a killer and that kind of thing, and one of the things they were talking about was, these migraines suck. I'm trying to regain my train of thought here. One of the things they were talking about was, I really lost it. I lost the thought.
Oh, it's all right.
Is that kid calling back again?
No, there is somebody else on hold here. Somebody else just hung up too. I don't know who that was, but it was Rebecca N. But she was on hold, but she's gone. But there is. All
right. Well, there. I lost it.
But anyways, it was good stuff. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, man.
That was good.
I'll call in again.
All right. Well, get your migraine. Take some Advil or something. All right. Have a good one.
Right. Have a good one.
Bye. All right, 803. You're on. 803. Hello, 803. You have to hit the unmute, *6. You guys can't hear any music in the background right now, right? *6, 803. Oh, they hung up. So now there's nobody on hold. So if anybody wants to call in, go to the pinned post that has the phone number, and then just look at your screen at the top. You have the meeting ID and the passcode. Now there's music though, right? It's really quiet. Because whenever I have to put it on monitor mode, you can't hear the system audio. You can hear me though. Okay, good. Yeah, there's been some interesting thoughts tonight. Yeah, I like that. And this is where Mike, when he shows up, I think he parks right over here. And I talked to the guy that flew the drone that had the night vision, but he couldn't tell me where he flew it. My opinion would be that he would probably flew it all around over in this area, because nobody was thinking that they were on this side since the Snapchat photos were over here. But he also couldn't remember where he flew it. Rebecca? Hello? You have to unmute yourself, Rebecca. *6. Gotta unmute yourself, Rebecca. Hello? Okay. Sound like kids again. Oh, man. Yeah. I don't think it has anything to do with it. Al. Or All, or whatever the hell your name is. All aboard. Yeah. I don't think being a bank robber has anything to do with it. I think he just hasn't... There's no really close-up shots of the guy. If there was, we would all have seen it. That's the reality of it. Alright. So here in a couple days, or about 3-4 days from now, we're going to be doing our donation night. 5 days from now. And so whenever you're donating money to my show or the channel in general, I take a large percentage of it and send it into charities at the end of the month. And when I say large, it's literally a large number, not like whenever somebody else says it. So far this year, we've donated $11,500. Last year, $22,000. Our goal this year is $30,000, but just so far this year, it's already 11 something, so it could even be more than that. So just know that, and it goes to charities like RAIN, that's Violence Against Women, the DNA Dope Project we've donated to. We're building a DNA fund for identifinders for Colleen Fitzpatrick, and that's through a charity as well. And then we also donate to NCMEC, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, Innocence Project, things like that. Last year was we gave a lot of money to all those. All right, let me get these calls. Hold on. All right, 954. 954. You got to unmute.
What I was saying, I'm not saying that
Oh. Uh-huh. Well, they have evidence that the guy on the bridge killed him. They just don't know what his name is. But you think that they have a suspect? You think they have a suspect in mind? They just can't prove it. Because if they knew, if they could prove that, if they had a picture that was clear of the guy on the bridge and they had his name, that would be enough evidence. Just that right there, that he's the guy that said. Right, but in this case, But in this case, if they had a clear picture of his face in that video, and you knew who that guy was, that would be enough to win the case, because he's the only guy. Well, it would be because you could because it's his voice as he walks. It's him. You can keep his feet in the screen, and he says, "Hey guys," and then down the hill. And there's a click sound. And so what is he going to say at that point? That he transferred?
He killed them. You can't prove that.
Oh.
And in court, it's beyond a reasonable doubt.
Well, that wouldn't
right?
be reasonable. Like, anybody with a reasonable brain wouldn't think that at all. Like, if I saw that video, if I saw a video of a guy's face, and he says, "Hey guys, down the hill," and you see him walk by, say that, and he takes them down, and then they're found dead. That is absolutely like bombshell. Yeah, well, yeah, it's circumstantial, but at a high level, where you add that together with other stuff, and boom. But even just that alone would be enough for me, because it's obvious at that
for me
point.
as well, I think he killed them. I think that was the killer. But I'm just saying, maybe they're waiting for some other bit of information, because you never know how a jury can play things. I really don't believe that they have no idea who that man is. I don't think so.
Yeah, well, here's the thing is,
maybe-
they might think they know who the guy is. However, the image isn't clear, like I was thinking if it was. I was using a hypothetical. It's not clear at all. That could be a billion different people. I mean, I've seen, not a billion, but I've seen hundreds of people that when you look at him, you go, wow, that really could be that guy. So it's just,
Yeah.
you know, so the thing is, if it was clear, that'd be great. What they're having problems with, so if they have a suspect, sure, that could look like them, but could you really say for
prove it.
sure that that was him? They're going to have to find
think
other
about this
information.
too.
Yeah.
Think about this one little point. DNA, right?
Yeah.
He could have been a person who was never arrested, never convicted of a crime. So they have his DNA is not.
Well,
in
no,
the
but that's
system.
where you use the genealogy stuff. I think there's just a really weak sample of DNA, but they've been using DNA for genealogy, so that whole thing is moot now that he's not in the system. You just take his DNA, you put it into GEDmatch, you find the closest relatives, then you start going back and you track back who this person is, and then you collect a sample of DNA, compare it to the sample that you got at the crime scene, and now you've got your killer and an arrest.
Well, that's what happened with the guy, the strangler, the guy from California, who was I forget what they called him, but he was a guy in California. He was strangling women. They found him through what you just said, GEDmatch. But the thing is, it takes time.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they have an idea of who that guy is. That's why they're not releasing that much information, because
Yeah.
I think they already have an idea.
Yeah, they very well
That's
could
what
have.
I think.
I mean, they might know who the guy is. We don't know, though. You know, there's been some press conferences where it sort of seems like they might think that there is somebody, but we just don't know. I mean, I hope so.
Well, the last thing I wanted to mention, I'm sorry to cut you off. The last thing I wanted to mention is that it seemed like when he was being recorded, it seemed like he was purposely evading being seen. I don't know if you caught that, or if you thought the same thing. Like,
well, I mean, when I look at him, he looks like somebody. Yeah, like he's got a hoodie on, a hat. You know, when people say, "Oh, he's looking down to hide," I don't think so. I think he's looking down because there's the tracks aren't really, you know, the trestle isn't really the safest place in the world. But I think he's got the, you know, well, here's the thing: it's hard to know, really, because I got to tell you, I've seen video, so you can go butt this and all over and over again. I've seen it 1,000 times where people that live in the area, they wear the baseball hat with a hoodie over the top of it. He looks just like 1,000 other people do during that same time of year. It just so happens it helped not being able to identify him. You know, he could have, you know, I don't know if he did it intentionally like that, or that's just the way he was dressed.
For me, it wasn't the clothes. It was the way he was holding his head.
Yeah, but to me, you can see his whole face. You know, here's the thing. You can see his entire face. The problem is, which a lot of people don't seem to know, is that it was a very large video. Well, not that large. It was only 720p. And they cropped him out of a much larger frame. And then when you zoom in on it, it's absolutely blurry. You can't see anything. Had it been a 4K video or something like that, man, there'd be all kinds of detail on that face because it's all right there.
I don't know, because
well, I
the
can
way
see the
he's holding
chin. I know, but I can
his
see the
shoulders are
chin.
hunched.
I can see his nose. I can see where his eye sockets are. I can see the whole face. So it wouldn't matter to me. If it was really clear, you'd be able to see it.
But don't you think that most adults know that teenagers have cell phones?
I don't know. I think you're just kind of like really overthinking stuff like that. Like, oh yeah, so he's walking across the bridge. He knows that they got a phone.
I think overthinking.
Well, overthinking it gets you boggled down a lot. Well, no, overthinking a lot of times boggles people down into an abyss of like rabbit holes. You know, because I don't really. That part right there to me is just. It doesn't mean anything. It's like saying, oh yeah, well, most people are going to know that they can have phones, so he was keeping his head down. We don't know. I can see his entire face. I can see his chin, his lips, his nose, and his eyes. Can't you? They're just not clear because it's blurry. That's the problem. Now, had it been a clear video, we'd be able to see his face.
I think he was purposely hunching over because he seems like a tall man. It seems like he was hunching over the same way.
Yeah.
I've done I have a license with security, just basic security, right?
Yeah.
And that those are things that they teach you to look out for when someone's stealing.
Yeah.
Hunch your
Okay.
shoulders hunched over.
Yeah.
He's being evasive.
Well, maybe, yeah.
I don't know, but
It's hard
we'll
to
see.
say. You know, it's hard to say. I mean, he had one hand in his
Okay, I'll look
pocket.
at your other colors.
He had one hand in the pocket, one hand under the jacket, propping something up. It looks like, and he's just kind of walking. That might be why it looks like his shoulders are hunched, because he's got two hands in his pocket. Who the hell knows, right? I just think that I can see his whole face. It's just not clear, and that's not because of him. It's because it was only filmed at a distance, and then the camera was moved, and we didn't get a closer shot.
But he had to have done something to those girls to make them decide to.
Right, we just went over that. He
record
probably
that
thought
dive.
he was creepy, and now he's walking all the way across the bridge, and he didn't stop halfway. He kept going. Now he's coming right at him, and then she turned on that phone. The creepy guy that they saw earlier. Does that
Do you
make
think
sense?
there's a reason why they wouldn't both run, or that one would? Do you think it was because he?
Well,
may
why
have
would they
threatened them with a
run?
weapon?
They wouldn't know where to go. They didn't know that area on the back.
I would have ran.
Well, you might have, but you're not. You know, everybody isn't the same, right? So, anyways, I got to get these other
to
calls.
take on a target of two
these,
people.
I'm gonna get these other calls.
Okay.
Yeah. No, they
All right,
didn't
thank
run
you.
because they didn't know where to go. They talked about where to go. They didn't know where to go. And why would you run from somebody that you didn't really like?
Oh, why would you leave
You
your
didn't know
friend?
that he was a killer or anything. You just thought, well, what's this guy doing? And then it was too late. Everybody's different out there. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep listening. Thank you.
All right. See you. Bye. All right, Alex, you're on. Alex, you hit *6. Ah, anyways, another idiot again. All right. 774, you're on. Hello. Yeah. Hello.
What I was going to say, and I know you have other callers.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was listening to another thing where they were trying to break down the psychology of killers. And they were talking about how when Robert Ives said about the signatures at the crime scene and things you wouldn't expect to find. And they were speculating, and it's just speculation. What do you think about... This is on the other side of things, because we were just talking earlier about how, well, maybe it wasn't premeditated, but what do you think the chances are that this guy had something set up previously, like Israel Keys, where maybe he had a kill kit out there buried,
Yeah.
or
I don't think so. It
you
looked
know,
like he
something
had
to
stuff
that
with.
effect.
Kind of looked like he had his items
Under
with
his
him,
jacket.
like with him, like he was just ready to go.
Yeah.
He was just sitting around waiting for the right opportunity that day. He might have come back the next day if it didn't work out. I mean, who the hell knows?
Yeah, it seems like he had all of his stuff on his person under his jacket.
It does seem like that. It's hard. We don't know what was under there. You got people that say they know exactly what he's got there: a socket wrench and a Snickers bar. You know, like I really can't tell you what he's got specifically under the jacket. I know that I just
Like he's got a whole closet under there.
yeah. I mean, I had somebody tell me
Um,
what brand of gun it was. Like, how in the hell can you
Yeah, I know. It's
possibly do that? Well, you have to know it, Gray. What it was a 1970s. It's just it drives me nuts. Okay, nobody knows what he has under the jacket except the killer, and I think that there was a gun. That's just something I think based on what I was told that law enforcement thinks, because they heard a click and Abby said what she said. So you got those things.
It just seems
I don't
like
know what
there
kind of
was
gun it is.
more than that.
Well, obviously,
like,
yeah. I think there's
because
more
of-
stuff underneath there. It looks like there's more stuff going on under the jacket.
what else would you need? Like, what else did he need?
Well, maybe
What was his
those items,
intention?
maybe perhaps what he's got under the jacket make up what were some of the signatures.
Yeah.
Something-
And well, you were saying signatures are usually indicative of a serial killer, but couldn't signatures just be strange things that you wouldn't expect to find at a crime scene? Things that are out of place, that are not required for the killing?
Yeah, I don't think if you like left something on accident. I think a signature would be something that was intentionally left that wasn't required to commit the crime. It was something extra. You know? Yeah, there's a little bit different there. Like if you left, like if let's say you were committing a crime and one of your gloves fell out of your pocket.
So, with the whole like non-secular comment and the whole signatures comment, which if that means something that you go out of your way to do that's not required to commit the crime, that kind of gives more weight to the potential posing, where maybe he folded one of the girl's arms in a pose as it like an angelic kind of pose, because that was one of the comments that was made early on that was hearsay, right? Like that was potentially made up by text messages from one of the searchers that we can't verify whether or not it was actually one of the searchers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have a lot of other callers.
Yeah. But
Okay.
hey, well, thanks for calling in. That was got your other point in. Who knows?
Yeah, I remembered. I'm happy. All right, thanks. Bye.
All right, see you. Bye. All right, 585. Hello, who's this? Peyton from New York. What's going on?
Hey, so listen, I'm newly into the sleuth community, or whatever you want to call it, true crime community. And I just think, honestly, the one thing that people overlook with this case, kind of like what some other callers been talking about, is that we don't know. We don't know who it was. We don't know who it was on that tape. And I think that even if we did know who it was on that tape, it doesn't matter, because we don't know what they did after that tape was taken.
Well, they did. Law enforcement does.
Well, you see, but in a law of court, you'd have to prove it. So I just don't think that anything, why wouldn't they have released it?
Well, let me just ask you this: if you were on, let me say this: so if you were on a jury and you have a video and you have Abby saying, "That's a gun, isn't it?" Then you hear the click of the gun, and then the guy saying, "Down the hill," and then they're found dead the next day. And their cell phone was turned off right at that time. You wouldn't be able to say to yourself, without doubt, that person who said "down the hill" and had a gun in their hand was the one who killed them.
I wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't.
Listen. I would never want you to serve on a jury, because that absolutely is 100%.
I mean, the point of being on a jury is to be impartial and to follow only the evidence.
Well, but here's the thing. But that is evidence.
In the case.
He's right there. He says,
but it's
"Hey
not,
guys."
it's
No,
not
no,
like
it is.
you see a
It
video.
is. It is. You're wrong. You're wrong. He says, "Hey guys."
Okay.
Down the hill, right? And then he pulls out a gun. And then
But
they
it's
found dead the next
speculative.
day.
It's what you would in a court of law call speculation.
No, yeah, okay, buddy. I'm gonna have to get rid of you. Don't do. Hey, listen, I'll tell you what. Get out of the sleuthing industry. You're an idiot. All right, let me get this person on here. 603.
Hey, what's going on, Greg?
Hey, who's this?
Hey, it's Derrick.
What's going on?
Not too much, man. You?
Yeah, hanging in there.
I mean, I'm just telling you, these people, I hate to say it, but there's some very near me or anywhere for that matter. I mean, it's essentially the same thing. If you saw the two girls walking with a guy into a garage, and then he walks out, the girls don't walk out, and they're dead the next day. Well, we can see him kill them.
Right.
You don't need to. It's common sense.
Right. Well, yeah. That's the thing is that this guy, he must have been a troll. He goes, I'm just new into the sleuthing. What do you mean, man? I mean, like, look at the guy says, "Hey guys," and then down the hill, forces them down the hill, and he has a gun, and if they could prove that, all those things, and they have that information, right? The Abby's. To me, it's mind-boggling that you have people. I would never want somebody like that on a jury, because that means they need it to be CSI, like the shows on TV, instead of using their freaking brain. It's so obvious. Not even just Occam's razor, Tia. It's 100%. If somebody says down the hill and pulls out a gun, and the next thing you find out is the girls are dead. So, because here's the thing, everybody. I think like what you were just saying. Let's say you had a building, and you had a guy force 2 girls into the building, and you see him on camera do that. Then they're found dead the next day, but you couldn't find any forensic evidence pointing to him killing them. Wouldn't it be obvious, though, to everybody watching that he's the one at gunpoint who brought them into the building, and that's why they're dead? Now, he could say, well, no, I left them there after that. I thought I would just take off, and then somebody else must have came in at that exact second. Some of these people, it just drives me nuts.
Yeah, because the lady that called, 20 minutes ago, she kind of said the same thing. I don't know if she was. It didn't seem like she was a troll, but.
Well, I don't think she was a troll. I don't think she really. That's what I'm saying. It's like overthinking too much. I think people are watching too many of these shows, like CSI and everything. It's really, if you're on a jury and you've got information like that, where you could literally see the person's face, and he says, see, in this case, we don't know, can't see his face, but I'm saying in the hypothetical situation where you could see his face really clearly, that's what they're saying here, and then he says those things, takes them down the hill, and then they're found dead. That would be the smoking gun for me. I wouldn't need extra information, because I'm not stupid enough to go, exactly. There was some other guy. Yeah, there was some other guy that just showed up.
Came forward the next day saying, "Oh yeah, I saw them," but you still pulled out the gun. I mean, it's just way beyond that. It's obvious the guy is the one who killed him.
But unfortunately, the video's so blurry that that isn't the case. So in this case, it's just we have a voice, a blurry video, and but my thing is hypothetical. If it was clear, and that's what this last guy was. That's what he was talking about. Like if it was clear, even if he said that and you knew who it was, it still wouldn't be enough. I need to place him at the scene. I don't know, man. I think that does place him at the scene. It's a large crime scene. It goes to the end of the bridge, all the way to across the creek. It's a big crime scene there. So he left the crime scene part halfway through. Give me a break.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think he was at that end of the bridge either. I think he came across all the way because it would be less beneficial for him to start there. If he came from all the way across, he knows exactly who's there, exactly who's still there or who has left. And it doesn't make any sense why he would come up the other way and wait for them and then walk across 60, 70 feet and then turn around. Right. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, there's things like that don't make any sense. I mean, it's definitely possible that he was on the southeast side, to give southeast side Bill some. It's possible. I'd say it's like 5% likely, though. It just doesn't make sense that he would walk by them quite a ways, then turn around. He would have just barely walked by, because you can see across the bridge, all the way across from 5 feet on. You wouldn't have needed to go. You gave them time to run if they wanted to. And the thing is Abby wasn't even off the bridge yet. So let's see. He passed her, then he goes all the way over there, then he comes all the way back. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, and by passing them, he kind of gives them an opportunity that they could have ran. Right. At that point, if they would have thought something, and it just wastes more time for him if somebody could start coming across. It just doesn't make any sense. And I don't think he's necessarily hiding his face when he's walking. I just think he's walking normally, trying not to look at them, but not hiding it. And he's looking down because the gaps in between that bridge, as you know, I mean, that's not an easy thing to just walk across. So I don't think he's necessarily trying to hide his face completely. He's not sitting there smiling for the camera, but he's not trying to hide it either.
Yeah.
I don't think he had a clue that they were recording right there. I don't.
Man, to me, it's just a couple of these people that have called in. It's scary to think that there's going to be jury members of people that are younger that they've been watching too much of the CSI stuff, so they need every little tiny little thing, or it's not really that interesting and not really cool, and I'm not going to be able to vote guilty. Okay, sometimes it's just absolutely clear given certain evidence. So that's all I can.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. I just had to call in because I was, God help me. I couldn't believe when that first lady and then the next guy. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like this can't be real."
Well, the first lady had good points on a lot of other stuff. I just that part was just like, no, it's definitely. If you could see his face, that would definitely be enough. See, that was where the argument came. It was even if you could see his face clearly. Okay, at this point, if they arrested somebody, he could easily say, "Well, that's not me," unless they could find those exact clothing items somewhere. But you could say that's not me, and you couldn't prove that it was, because there's literally 50 different people, hundreds of people that I've seen that people have said, "Hey, look at this guy," and you look at him and you go, "Shit, yeah, if he had a hoodie on and all that, he could be that person," right? Because it's not clear. Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Well, all right, man. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work as always, and I'll call back in.
All right.
Next week or so.
Well, I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man.
Thanks. Have a good one.
No problem.
Bye. So what's the deal with Trudy? What's going on with Trudy up here? Like, why do we need to be getting a hold of Trudy? Why? It seems like it's an emergency. Who's Trudy Richard? What happened? Who? He was hiding his face. He wouldn't have been scared to cross a bridge. Yeah, well, we don't know if he said hi with his head down, do we? All aboard. So, what? Well, why do you really need to talk to Trudy? I mean, what is... That's just the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Man, Jesus. I still don't see her in here. Oh, and thank you very much, Jim Chaplin. Really appreciate it. Sorry, I didn't... was in the middle of the conversation, but thank you very much. Jim Chaplin! Yeah, they've said it 1,000 times that he had to look down because the bridge has gaps in it, and you just kind of have to be looking down when you're walking so that you don't slip between it. You're like your foot go in between two ties, right? I don't know who Trudy is. It sounds like she's really important. Some kind of something going on. And I can't see her in here. So when people say, "There you are," I don't know what that means because... Oh, there she is. The one in the green there. Interesting. Alright, hold on. Let me get this. 585. Hello? Hello, who's this? Oh, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. Yeah. What's going on? No, but you said you're new. You said you're new to the whole truth. All right, I'll put you. I'll put you back on here. So let me just say, your theory was that if you could see his face clearly, obviously it's blurry. So at this point, if somebody said, "Oh yeah, that's the guy," I wouldn't be able to say that that was him or not for sure. Okay, but your theory was, if it was a clear video of the guy's face and he said, "Hey guys, down the hill," and he forced them across the creek and everything. I mean, we don't know if he forced them across the creek. Like, you wouldn't know that. But if he said, "Hey guys, down the hill," and there's a gun click, and Abby said, "Hey, he's got a gun," and law enforcement is able to determine that he did have a gun on him, you're going to say that somehow it got transferred to a different person at that point. Somebody else.
I think that this is probably more common than you or me both think, and I think that to be quite honest, if you're gonna be one of those 12 people on the jury that's making the decision, are you really gonna go off of one video that doesn't show intent, that doesn't show anything related to the victim?
It does show intent.
That shows just location.
No, but you're wrong. See, that's the thing. You just said it. What you just said is an error. He did have intent. He said, "Hey guy," and then right after that he says, "Down the hill." He's ordering them. What do you think? He just threw that in there? "Hey, I'm just letting you guys know I'm going down the hill." No, that's not what happened. He said, "Hey guys, down the hill." After he goes, "There's a click, down the hill." So he has them go down the hill, and then once he gets down to the bottom of the hill, they go down the hill, obviously, right? But then we don't know where they went after that, but they ended up being killed.
Exactly, and I'm saying that in that time, not that this happened, not that I'm not saying that I disagree with you, and I'm not saying that the guy didn't kill the person, but I'm not saying that the guy
I'm giving you another chance on here. When I called you an idiot, that's just sort of the way I talk. Unfortunately.
No, and it's fine.
But the thing is go through. Tell me how you can possibly come up with him not being the killer after he's the one who forced them to get down the hill.
I mean, I'm just looking at people in the chat saying that intent doesn't have to be proven in court. I mean, it does. It's one of the main components of murder is intent.
But that
you
is
can't
his
have
intent.
murder without intent.
But he already said down the hill, right? So why is he ordering them down the hill?
Down the hill could be anything. Could be anything. Could be
lyric
a number
to a song.
of things.
Hey, come on. No, listen. He walked by.
I'm not saying that this is what I think happened. I'm just saying that this is what the defense could be saying in a court of law. And this is the frustration that you're having with me, is the frustration that the jury members would likely be having with you.
I wouldn't be frustrated. I'd be frustrated with other jury members that might have sounded like you, but I wouldn't be frustrated with the evidence. Like if
I'm out there, there's got to be others, right? If I'm out there, there's
that's what I was just saying later. Is like, wow, all these younger people today, they watch all the CSI and all this shit, so they need every little tiny little piece of information, or the person's innocent. Where in reality, sometimes just really.
But I mean, our system.
Hey, listen. Every time there's a murder, every time there's a murder, hold on a second. Hold on. Every time that there's a murder. No, listen. There's been murder cases tried without bodies. So isn't every single thing that they're putting out there circumstantial evidence at that point? Because you don't even know if they're dead at all, right? So
it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right, so they put all these pieces together.
And to me, that raises a reasonable doubt that two people could be on a trail at the same time, at the same place, to me is not unreasonable.
Look, you're on the far end of a bridge that nobody ever goes over. It's like people go on the bridge, but crossing it, not everybody does it. It's not really that common. Then you're on the other side, and you tell the two girls to go down the hill. She filmed them for a reason. Has them go down the hill, and then he orders them down the hill, and you hear a click. So if all of that was told to you, and you're on a jury, let me just pretend you're on a jury. Okay, and this is all the information. First of all, you've developed other stuff, but now this is the final nail in the coffin. You say, now listen, this is him right here. He walks by them. He says, "Hey guys," and then you hear that click right there. That is a gun. And right here, listen to Abby. She says, "That's a gun, isn't it? That's a gun." Then you hear the click, and then he says, "Down the hill."
But
then he says, "Down the hill." He orders them down the hill. And
Sure.
then they're found dead the next day. So you're going to say that after he had him go down the hill, he goes, oh, you know what, I'm bored. And then they went walking over, and then another killer showed up. Is that what you want people... Like, if there's any people out there that are that gullible, they should never serve on a jury. Because that just doesn't make any sense.
You know, you're totally entitled to your opinion, and
it's not just an opinion. It's fact.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I'm not going to disagree with you on that because
Well, it's the
everyone
truth.
is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, well, it's the truth. It's not an opinion. That's an absolute fact. What I just said. That there isn't any other options.
Okay.
There's no options out of it. Like it's not. You know, the guy goes, well, yeah, I told him to go down the hill
Sure,
at gunpoint.
I'm not going to disagree with you, but what you and me are both doing right now is speculating.
I'm not speculating at all.
Neither
He
of us
said-
knows what happens. Neither of us knows what happens.
I just told you. He said down the hill after the gun clicked. This is all factual stuff. The gun clicked, and he had him go down the hill. So what you're saying is your out for him would be that after he had him go down the hill at gunpoint, he could just say out loud, hey, you know what? After that, I said, you know what? He called off his attack, and he walked away. And then right after that,
I'm saying that they could argue that.
Okay, they could argue that, but anybody...
would it be shot down? It probably would.
I'll say, but no, you just said a minute ago that if you were on the jury, you would listen to that and think that that was reasonable, right?
I'd have to take it into consideration. I'd have to take everything I heard into consideration.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, well, I get it.
You shouldn't...
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, listen.
You shouldn't look at any case with outside bias. You really shouldn't. That's why when you're in the jury, they instruct you not to see any media, any videos. You certainly wouldn't be able to see a YouTube channel like this.
Yeah, we've done a lot of shows about, you know, there's prosecutors out there that sell a bunch of crap to a jury. And
Just woke up, keep up the
that's
good
why
work.
innocent people get convicted of crimes they didn't commit. Okay, but I'm saying,
true.
but
That's
what
very
I'm
true.
saying in this case, because our argument is stipulating that the video was a clear shot of his face, and you could tell that that was Jim Smith. Okay, and that is him. But you're saying if you were on a jury and his attorney told you that, oh no, well yes, that was him. He forced him down the hill at gunpoint, and he.
I'm saying, where do you go from there? Then what did he
where
do?
you go from there
How
is
do we know
they
that?
were found
How did
dead.
we know that he do what you're saying that he did?
Okay,
no?
because he was the last
You just
person.
can't prove it.
Because he's the
There's
last
no
person known to. He's
DNA
the last
evidence,
person
there's
known
no
to
photographic
communicate with them.
evidence.
You're talking at the same time, and I'm telling you the answer. He's the
Okay,
last
sorry
known
about
person.
that. Hard to hear.
He's the last known person to be communicating with them, and he not only that, it was an aggressive communication in terms of he ordered them down the hill at gunpoint. Okay, then their bodies are found the next day dead. I think any reasonable person out there, if we're basing this all on if the video was a crystal clear image of the guy's face, and they even stipulate that that's him. Okay, at this point, the video's way too blurry to claim it's anybody. Okay, it's just sort of a general look, but that wasn't the argument. Your argument was even if it was a crystal clear photo, and they even admitted that it was them, that you might actually not be able to do it because yes, it is possible that there were two killers, another random killer in the same park that took over the attack after he decided to leave. They just said, oh my God, that other killer just left the two girls there. I'm going to go take over now. I mean, that would be crazy.
I'm not saying that it's another killer. I'm saying that the killer isn't necessarily the man in that video, who we all come to know as the bridge man today. It very likely is, to be honest.
Well, it's not even just very likely.
My personal opinion, I think it is. But I'm saying, if I were to be tasked in a court of law, I don't think that would hold up. It's just not enough.
Oh God, yeah. Well, it would for me. So everybody, put me as a foreman. I would definitely try to really help and hammer through that argument. Okay.
All right. Well, it was good talking to you.
All right. Thanks for calling in again.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Jesus. Is this stuff for real? Hey, Steve. Who's this? What's going on?
even though I completely agree with you, you just never know who would end up on a jury. So
right, there could be somebody like him. There could be somebody just like him on there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of an underrated portion of criminal law, like just the randomness of who ends up on a jury.
Yeah.
And I think the only reasonable out would be if there were, say, some kind of co-conspirator down the hill or whatever. But the standard is a reasonable doubt. And the term reasonable isn't really codified or quantified somewhere. And so my thought is that if someone's pointing a gun at a co-conspirator in some kind of double murder of little girls, whether he shot them or not, and I don't think it's a likely scenario, I'm just playing it out here, whether that's likely or not, I think the standard of reasonableness changes. And I just would guess that the vast majority of juries would look at that and say, yeah, that guy did it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it seems like often there's always this weirdo, like there's people on juries that just kind of need all the stuff. It's almost like that they had something happen to them at some point that seemed like they did it. Because I really don't understand not being able to put two and two together like that. It drives me insane. And when they say jury of your peers, are they really? I mean, if there's sometimes there's just people that are really, they couldn't put a square, they couldn't put the pegs in the right holes, they wouldn't be able to put the square into the round hole or the round one into the square one, and they're on a jury. So they're not really peers at that point, right? Shouldn't they put people on there that have a brain that functions a little bit?
Yeah, and I guess there's the whole jury selection process. Probably the prosecution and defense can both remove some people from the jury pool that they think are unfavorable.
I kind of thought of an idea. I mean, it probably wouldn't work, but if there was some way to do professional jurors, but they're paid a ridiculous amount of money so that, you can't bribe them or something, and they're just smart people. But then again, they get to the point where they're so intellectual that they start overthinking and coming up with these other outs for people. So it's really tough, man. I know what you're saying, like that voir dire part of the trial. It's really a struggle to get the right people in there, So.
Yeah, and there's one other point that I kind of wanted to bring up. So law enforcement has indicated in a press conference in the past that they're reasonably sure that this guy is a local or has some attachment to the local Delphi area. And I'm kind of reminded of Pascal's wager, and his wager was basically, if God is real and I believe in him, then I have everything to gain. But if he's not, then I've lost nothing. And I kind of think the same about some of the communications that law enforcement's tossing out there about him being a local. Because if this guy's not a local and he's just a wanderer that's in a different state right now that has no connection to the Delphi area, do they realistically have a chance of capturing him? Like, I don't think the chances are very high unless there's some kind of crazy DNA breakthrough or something along those lines.
Or he commits another crime that's really similar, and they can kind of link it somehow, and they get some DNA. But a lot of these killers now, they're so aware of DNA. What was that first point that you made in that, what you just said? I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, so in Pascal's wager, like his point, or Pascal's point about belief in God, was that if you believe in God and you're wrong, you lose nothing. But if you're right, you have everything to gain. On the flip side, if you don't believe and then you have everything to lose. And so the parallel that I'm trying to make here is that if law enforcement is trying to amp up the pressure on potential local people and make it sound as though they know more about the killer than they really do, and are kind of bluffing to kind of make him nervous, maybe smoke him out a little bit or something along those lines. But I guess what I'm saying is, even though law enforcement says certain things with conviction that he must be a local or whatever, I'm not fully convinced that they really know, and I think to some extent it's a little bit of a calculated risk to make it sound like they have more pieces of evidence than maybe they really do.
Yeah, they've been doing that since the beginning, though. It's interesting to go back and watch like Jerry Holman gave a long interview that was like 23 minutes long, early on. I have that. There's stuff that's said in there that's interesting. You know, the phone was found by the girls in that area, and you know, a whole bunch of different information in that interview. It seemed like also at these press conferences that they were trying to appeal to a religious side of the killer, like with the shack, for example. You know that. You know, he brought up when you interview with in the interview we did with Doug Carter. He said it was he just liked the movie and he thought it had a good point, but it's kind of a religious movie, and you sort of wonder if, and it was also kind of about. I haven't seen it, but I've read about what it was about. I probably should go watch it just to see if there's any, relationship with it. But it just seems like they were trying to appeal to sort of a moral side of this person in some way. I don't know.
I wonder if there are some particulars in the film or in the book. I've not watched or read The Shack, but I wonder if there's some like really particular details beyond just a broad religious motivation that might have been at the crime scene or whatever.
Well, see, that's what was interesting. If that was correct, this non-secular stuff that was in the article, and then you add the shack reference in there. Maybe they even brought that up because it had something that might speak to a person that would have used the signatures that were used. But at the same time, I think Kelsey actually brought up that she liked that movie way before they ever used that at the press conference. So it might have been that she said, hey, you should watch this, and they watched it, and it seemed like they just both liked the movie, and that's what it was Kelsey interviewing Carter, and they just seemed like they both liked the movie. Yeah, redemption is the message. Gene Fish just typed it in. That was the word I was looking for, but I couldn't find it in my brain.
and I guess just one question for you: if someone put or if I guess, where do you think law enforcement is in terms of suspects? Do you think they have like a single individual that they're more than 50% sure that who did it, or do you think they don't have any individual that they are, say, more likely than not?
Yeah. It's just wild speculation on our parts. I have no idea if they've got somebody that they're interested in. I know that they have been interested in different people over the years, but do they have somebody that they really are singularly focused on, waiting for that one mistake? I don't know. Really don't. I don't have any idea.
I think the switch to the young guy's sketch is interesting because
that is weird. It's a little bit strange because it doesn't look. A lot of people try to say it looks like the same, like an older version. Yeah, no way, man. Look at those individually. They don't look similar at all. There isn't one bit, other than they both have eyeballs.
Yeah, and then the lack of clarity about the two statements with respect to them, that just doesn't give me a great feeling.
Yeah, well, the thing is Carter, he's a really emotional guy, and he just kind of, sometimes I think he goes off script a little bit. When they first put out the new sketch, which was actually the first sketch made, they just didn't put it out because they didn't think it was accurate. So they made the second one based off witnesses and probably what the video looks like, a little scruff, so they made that one, and then they come up with they put out the first sketch second, years later, and then say, this is the person we are looking for, and then literally within a day or so, Carter said, well, it's somewhere in between the two. And then it's like, oh, God, then why don't you just hybrid them together? And, but then at the same time, it's just a sketch. A sketch is a sketch. It's not a picture of somebody. It's a likeness of what somebody might look like. And it's weird how when people do side-by-sides with a sketch is a sketch. It's not a, an exact image of somebody that you can put them right next to each other, and they say, "Look, God, look at even the eyes. They got this and that." That's not what it's about. It's just really a general look for somebody to maybe recognize.
And I'm totally with you that the sketches are very different from one another. But when looking into the case, looking at some people, there have been a few where like that look kind of in between the two, and then I ask myself, like, is that reasonable enough where like someone saw them in passing, only partially glanced at them, and that you could get these two perspectives from that one individual? And it seems like, yeah, maybe if you're not really paying attention, you only partially glance at someone, I could see how both of those sketches could result from the same person. But obviously those two sketches look very different, and like even in between them, there's like, it's like half the male population in Delphi, you know?
Oh yeah, and maybe even in the entire state. You know, they've got the, I mean, I've seen hundreds and hundreds and, I mean, I'd say, God, I mean, I would like to say 1,000, but side-by-side pictures of the original sketch with a person. And when you look at it, you go, God, you know, wow, that looks really similar. And then you see the next one, you go, gosh, man, that looks really similar. And the funny thing is once they all look similar, and then you actually put the side-by-sides of the actual human picture, they don't look alike at all. So what it is the sketch is so generic that it matches all these other people, and none of the people that were used in the side-by-side look like each other at all. So then you say to yourself, oh, wow, so how useful is that, you know?
My own personal perspective on the newer Bridge Guy sketch is that they started running out of quality leads on the previous sketch, and they wanted to just broaden their net.
Yeah. Well, it's also like 18 to 40. I mean, man, now we've got this wide age range, you know. I saw a case that I covered the other day. It said, we believe the body's between 20 and 80. I was like, what are you talking about? You couldn't narrow it down more than that with the bones? You know, it was bizarre. It was actually a body they found in this case. And it had bones, and they said between 20 and 80. You know, it's like, it seemed like you could get a little bit more accurate. But
anyway, thanks for taking my call. I'll hop off. I know there are others in the queue.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you calling in. Good one. Call in again
Thanks.
sometime. Thanks.
Will do.
All right, bye. All right, 803, you're on. Hello? 803. 803. Are you on there? 803? All right. 563, you're on. You have to hit *6 to unmute yourself. Yeah, what's that?
Guy in the bridge, the film. This is the guy who did the killing. Then they bring out the next picture of the younger guy, and they say, the guy in the bridge is secondary.
Right.
So to me that's confusing because
well, they didn't say the guy in the they didn't say the guy in the bridge is secondary. They said that the sketch from before is now secondary to the new one.
Right.
Yeah.
So they made it sound like, well, you know, he's not the killer. It's somebody else. It's the younger picture. He's the killer.
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah, that's right.
That's the part, like, you know, with the guy you were talking to a few minutes ago about, you know, being on a jury and stuff. And, you know, in a way, he's kind of right, because if the police are acting like, you know, when it first came out, it's like, this is the guy that did it. He said down the hill, this is him. And I don't disagree.
Yeah, well, I know what you're about to say, but hold on. Let me throw this in there really quick. You can't, the scenario that the caller had is different, because in his scenario, it's a completely clear picture where no sketches are needed. You could literally see that is Jim Smith that says, "Hey guys, down the hill." So that's, you can't use his scenario. We stipulated through the part where you know exactly who that guy is. He's just saying he could have traded them off to another killer after they went down the hill.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, you mean what, the other guy in this? Okay. So that would mean that there
No.
was two people, right?
Right. Which I don't know, but I'm just saying, yeah, you could see that guy on the bridge, and he could have said down the hill, but somebody else could have been down the hill that was the actual killer.
Right, but he would be part of it no
just-
matter what, though, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay,
You'd
so-
be just as guilty.
Yeah. Right. So there are some people who think there was two killers and that kind of thing, and one of
Or
them,
three.
or three. I never
You
heard
know,
the three, but
I've heard that too.
yeah.
I don't know.
I think there's just
I
one.
just-
I think the guy that you see.
Solve it.
I think the guy that you see is the only killer. He did it all by himself. That's my opinion.
Oh, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I do. I just wish they could solve this and get justice for those little girls. They deserve it.
Yeah. No, they've. It's long past them. They need to have had this, 2 years ago. We're way into the fourth year at this point, and 4
Right.
years and 2
Well,
months.
just
you know.
4 years for this and 5 years for Missy Beavers. It's like,
Yeah,
wow,
it's
they're
weird
on
too.
film.
The only difference in that one, they don't have, that person definitely had on a disguise, and there's no voice. But it is kind of weird. Another case with a video. I think that was
Yeah.
looked like a female to me, but in the Beavers.
I
case.
know, that's just great. Yeah, these two cases are just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, that was just all.
Ah,
Thank you.
Well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right, hold on one second. I gotta go get my. Gotta go get a Gatorade. All right. There we go. I'm going to remove this 803. 803, I'll give you one more shot. What's going on, 803? You have to hit *6. Going once, twice. All right. I don't want you just popping into a conversation. All right, 903, you're on. 903. Hello? Yep.
How you doing, buddy?
It's Brad from Texas. What's going on?
It's been a little while. I figured I'd give you a little break from me, and
Why don't you call in on the non-Delphi night, so? Come on, man.
yeah. Well, hey, I wanted to let you know that I do watch your other shows. I just kind of lurk, and when you get going, I'm on Central Time, so I can't stay up too late because I have to get up early for work. But anyway, I do pay close attention to you. So tonight is theory night, correct? All right.
Yeah, you can call in about whatever, Yeah, theories, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. On mine, I mean, mine's pretty basic. What normally everybody thinks. It's just I just think the cat got real lucky. Some people believe it's a covert operation. I just think the guy got very, very, very lucky with everything that he did. I mean, in my opinion, I think the guy's not very smart, and he just got real lucky, in my opinion. But
could have been.
Yeah.
Sometimes
also,
luck's a good. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, I guess. I mean, like an athlete,
Yeah.
sometimes like some people make their own luck, though. By being good.
Yeah.
Like Tiger Woods, for example. I always thought that guy is the luckiest player I've ever seen. I mean, he hits these balls and they trickle over here, and then all of a sudden, boom, they go in, right? The odds of making that are 1 in a million. But the better you are at something, the more lucky you get. So maybe this guy had done something like this before, and maybe, you know, I hate even using the word luck because it's shitty luck first.
Yeah, exactly. The lucky words. I didn't mean that in a good way. He just got bad luck, I guess you could say. Yeah. And then, hey, I wanted to ask you, did you know anything else about the guy they arrested the other day for having the 9-year-old in his house? Did they know anything else on that?
I don't know if they know. They probably know more now than any of us do. But yeah, we covered that the other night. I mean, he's he's a guy that abducted. Really dumb. I mean, it was one of the dumbest crimes I've ever seen. It's like the girl lived right next to him, and then he abducts her. Basically, he even admits that she was over at his house. Then the police came by, and he goes, "Oh yeah, go ahead and check the house." And then they find her bruised up and bitten by a dog, and he was holding her against his will. So probably what he calculated was, if they didn't come by, I was going to kill her. So this is probably better to get whatever charge this is. I mean, it's really bizarre. Yeah. And then, he'd been arrested for another thing. He seems like a really a big dummy. But the thing is a guy like that is more likely to be the Delphi killer than an average Joe walking down the street. I'm not saying he's got a good chance of being the killer, but he's got a better chance. He's more likely than just the average person, okay? Because he's capable of doing stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, and I seen you covering it, and the whole dog bite thing. I didn't understand how that. I didn't know if it was his dog that bit her, and she was outside, and he had come in all.
It could be that the dog was. It could be that, like, when she was fighting off him, the dog attacked her, or it could be that he assaulted her. Then he set his dog on her to make it seem like all of the bruises and scratches that she had were from the dog, not him. That's the thought that I had.
And all those videos he had of himself, you could tell the guy was so full of himself. Come get, if you want some, come get some, and all that crazy mess.
I mean,
I thought
he's
that was
crazy.
Hilarious.
Yeah, and he's got pit bulls. I'm not a big fan of pit bulls. Everybody, just to let you know, I've discussed that a lot. But yeah, he had a couple pit bulls. I mean, the pit bull probably weighed more than she did, I'm sure.
Yeah. So hopefully, if he has any kind of connection, they'll be able to, include or rule him out quickly. But I guess time will tell. So, alrighty. Well, Gray, you seem like you're very busy tonight, so I'll let you get back to it, and I'll watch the rest of your show. Amen. I thank you.
All right, Brad. Thanks for calling in.
Everybody take care. Bye-bye.
Bye. Who doesn't like Brad, huh? Come on. 707, you're on. Oh, boy. Yeah, we got a lot of callers, so what do you got? What do you got this time?
What do you got? Just very quickly, I want to talk about doubt, especially about the sketches that the previous gentlemen were saying. We're looking at those sketches.
Yeah.
This, that's the other thing as a juror. But those sketches would never be entered into evidence anyway because we're not evidentiary.
Yeah, sketches are just trying to help people. They're just random
sketches.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hope they don't get entered. So, that perturbs me that there is this concept that just anything becomes evidence simply because it exists, when in fact it doesn't become evidence simply because it exists. It's just some random piece of unconnected information that may or may not be genuine. So that one, I think that should, temper the argument of anyone who says, well, I have to have 100%, ironclad proof, because you're taking your proof. The reasonable doubt or your irreasonable doubt is based only on the evidence that you presented, well, in theory. It's not based on the grand sum of the world, if you follow me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's just. I mean, I
mean, it's
I know
not
what you're saying. It's just, we
yeah,
all think about.
It's you have to look and see the fact that what you're deliberating in trial, if you're honest about it, if you pass voir dire properly about it, is you're looking at the evidence that is in the trial. Now you look at certain things using your own, pea brain, like this is absolutely daft, but that's what you have to do. You just have to look at the evidence being given and not what you're being shown now before there is a trial. And secondarily, in trials, I'm starting to get a tad nervous, and I think I'll get more nervous in the next 10 years, is that they're in the UK and in a lot of countries, especially the US, young people are being indoctrinated to distrust law and order.
Yeah.
And that is, and I think that the young person, I think he was young, he has some of that in him, I think. That now it's not just that police, law enforcement have to prove, that, any understanding person, that's right, this guy's guilty. Or not guilty, but this guy deserves to go to trial. He should be arrested now. I mean, it would be very difficult with distrust in the next 10 years. You're going to have a lot of people like the previous caller who want 100% ironclad God. Well, they don't believe in God necessarily. Absolutely, assured. And that's not the whole point of it. It's reasonable doubt. Yeah. And now reasonable doubt has squished over the
there's a lot of people out there a lot of people in society have their brains work in conspiratorial ways, so they don't even know what reasonable means anymore. They don't know what logic and just sort of putting pieces together mean. It's crazy. When I was, I mean, a perfect example would be the Kanika Jenkins case, where you put this stuff out there that's so ironclad obvious, and all these people are saying, no, it's a murder. No, look at this, look, over and over and over again. And so it's right there in front of you. So what's scary is all those people, if they were on a jury, they would find some way that what you just showed them wasn't real or something. It's bizarre,
Yeah, they would do that. They would assume, they're going to come forth and assume, like some people do, and it's absolutely stupid. We all know that the police are corrupt. Therefore, anyone they arrest, you have to look at the case with more than a normal piece of logic or lack of logic. I'm not saying this as well as I should.
No, it makes sense.
And it's frightening to me. It's frightening to me because now not only are people who probably ought to be in the criminal justice system being, being tried, they're not, because, we have to assume that everyone is innocent before proven guilty, and that's how it works here. It's how it works in almost every country.
Yeah.
But you can't just assume that, well, if this person is arrested and is now gone through the grand jury and the DA, you have DA, not Crown Prosecutor, have said, okay, we know we have enough to try this case and I think we're going to win. These people just turn all that up on side and backwards. And that was my comment.
All right. Well, I got a couple other callers here. How's your how are your dogs doing? Did they get out of it? Are they?
Well, one is still in veterinary hospital in Mumea. The surgeon that was going to repair her leg arrived from New Zealand. Well, it would be this morning. He's going to do the surgery tomorrow.
That's like humans.
The dog. The dog you saw the picture of that I sent you. Man. That's actually, you saw the picture of the winner, not the loser. She's doing fine.
Okay.
She's fine.
Well, good.
It's the little one. So pray for a German Shepherd named Poppy, please.
Okay. All right.
I would appreciate it. Thank you all.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. I'll see you.
Bye.
Magically delicious. All right, 845, you're on. 845. Yep. Yeah, who's this? Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
I have a question or a theory. Oh, well, I don't know. Do you think law enforcement ever put surveillance on the girls' grave sites? I mean, crazy as it sounds, to see somebody similar to the sketches ever just goes visit it every now and then.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. I think they have put cameras up in various places. I know that. I don't know if they've done that, but that it's a good idea. It sounds like something they may have thought of doing, because you know those people like to go revisit sometimes. But man, it seems like
people do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of those people at this point, though, this day and age, would just be idiots to do something like that. Even though they are, right? A lot of these criminals are idiots.
Yeah, you hear them collect souvenirs and things like that. They like to go back to the scene of the crime or somewhere that's, like a cemetery. You hear these stories, and, I just don't know if that was something that they did or as corny as it sounds, but at this point, after 4 years, I think anything's up in the air with this.
Yeah, no, they definitely, they obviously do return to the crime and show up to different things. That's why they always put detectives in, like, a vigil that they might have. They film everybody that shows up to vigils and things like that because they like to insert themselves and go relive and revisit the crime. I think the guy would be a total fool to show back up to the murder scene in this one. But I could definitely see, if he went to the cemetery and pretended he was going to theirs, but maybe stood by another one or something. It'd be pretty odd.
Yeah, exactly.
With all the people with cell phones and cameras out there at this point, but you never know.
Yeah.
You
never know. Well, listen, man, you do a great job. I appreciate your show, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's good talking to you.
Hey, where are you from? Let me guess, Boston?
I'm from New York.
New York. I was close.
Northern city.
Oh, you said New York. But it was close.
And I tell you, when I saw the HLN special, and then I started doing some investigating on YouTube, and then I saw your show, and I saw every other nonsensical thing that came about. Yours is the only one that made sense because you're talking about the facts and everything else. And but some of the stuff I read on Facebook or on Reddit, it's ridiculous.
Oh, it's insane,
some of the theories, and just the fact that they put people's names and faces up, I can't believe that.
Oh, it's wild. Yeah, it's. I mean, it almost seems like it's going to take where people get sued for doing that, and it actually sticks, where people quit doing it. It's crazy. The people putting face side by sides, then their face gets out there, and then people are literally start doxing them, calling them up on the phone, trying to get it. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild.
Yeah, I tell you, I'd hate to be an innocent person, just get the finger pointed at me.
Yeah.
Say, oh, well, you look like this guy. You sound like him, and this sound like, for God's sake.
Well, I got turned in early on because I listen. I knew too much, man. Because I figured out the flow.
I remember hearing that.
I figured out the flow of the crime, even though everyone goes, "Oh, it's so obvious." It wasn't obvious at all back then. And first of all, they said I was. I didn't know what I was talking about, but yet they're turning me in because I knew too much, right? So they turned me into the Facebook page, and so I used that as an opportunity. That's where I uploaded the actual flow of the crime, and that's the one that Robert Ives actually responded to. So it actually, thank you, whoever turned me in out there. It gave me the, what do you call it, impetus to upload a video. So there you go.
Yeah, anyway. I made a comment on Facebook thread once about, people should watch what you say, and da-da-da-da-da. And I started getting, private messages, who are you, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hold on a second here. And then I bailed out. I said, I don't need this nonsense. But some of the stuff, accusing people, I'm like, you got to be careful. Innocent people get really destroyed about this, and you're not a detective. And then people just start ripping you apart. I'm like, I don't need this nonsense. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, no. You should never have to deal with that, but it's Wild West out there, I'll tell you that.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man, thanks a lot. You do a good job, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Pete, I think his name was, right? Pete from New York. Yeah, no, I didn't have any feds come over to my house. What I did have was Ives left a message on my YouTube video. That's actually a video that I removed because there was an error. Then I uploaded it again, but he did put a message on there, and then he said, "Do you ever check your email?" So I checked my email, and there was a message from Robert Ives, but the email was like, it seemed like it was .com or something, so I wasn't really sure. And then I eventually, he sent me, clarification emails proving who he was, and I called over there, and then I asked if I could speak to him, and then the lady said, no, he's busy, but let me go ask. And then she asked, and he goes, yep, he'll take your call. Boom. And then I went right back, and we talked for, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes about how if they would be able to give me more accurate photographic information so that I could be more accurate on my flow that I built. But they thought they were going to make an arrest quick, and they were going to use my work at trial. That's what he said. Okay, he said that they would hire me to make something similar, but with more accurate information. And then it was just a couple months went by. So then my friend Beth and another friend, Bonnie Rame, haven't talked to her in a long time, but they all went out to the bridge and they filmed everything that I wanted them to film while we were on the phone together at the same time, and we figured out all the locations of all the different photographs and where the killer was on the bridge at the time. So it all kind of worked out at the time. Hey, no problem, Pete. All right, 971. 971. You have to hit *6, 971. Did it not work? Let me try that again. 971. Jan? Hello. 971. You have to unmute yourself. Got to unmute yourself. And now you're good. Yeah, I saw that you unmuted yourself, but then you muted it again. My nose keeps...
Yeah.
I got something like stuck, like a... That's weird on my nose. All right,
Sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well, I mean, I think this case is so convoluted at this point, and some of the theories that I read and hear, I think that people are so desperate for any bit of information for this case to be solved that they come up with really, really crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 50-foot teddy bear.
Yeah.
I think that people are putting so much on the signatures, and I don't think it needs to be as convoluted as people think, because signatures can be really, really small.
Yeah, it sounded like you could take pictures of them, and the crime scene was really bizarre, strange. I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to say, really, but I think that they should show us the signatures.
I agree with you.
Just because it might lead to somebody who maybe draws those things.
Yeah, I think that when this guy is caught, I think it's going to end up being I have my own theory of what happened that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I could be wrong, because none of us know. But, my theory is it's just some guy who has these urges, who has these thoughts. I think that he went out there that day hoping for a victim. Maybe that wasn't his first time going out there and scouting.
But when you say just some guy, I mean, like he's an unknown. I mean, aren't they all unknown people? Like, when you say he's just some guy, he had urges. Yeah, that's what all those people are. There's some guy.
Exactly. I think people want it to be an elder in the church or a politician or, something super shocking. And I really, in my opinion, I don't think that's going to be the case at all.
Yeah, well, I think, when they say shocking, they think it might be shocking to a community somewhere that was like, wow, this guy seemed like he was just a normal, nice guy, had a wife, couple kids, and now he turns out to be a psycho killer, right? Like a Dennis Rader type guy,
And I would agree with that as well. But yeah, I think that he went out there and was just that they happened to fit what it was that he wanted. And I think earlier when you said that they probably saw him, somewhere on the trail, and it freaked them out. And so when they saw him again, they immediately felt that fear.
Yeah, and that's the part that I always say. They felt that fear, and then the guy get closer and closer, and the fear that all of us have felt that went away once the danger, what your perceived danger went away, it goes away. Your heart's still beating quick, and then eventually goes away. In their case, it got worse and worse and worse, and then they were killed. And that's the part that always makes me, gets me, angry, and then I feel bad. Really bad for them, that absolute fear that they felt for probably at least 15 or 20 minutes, at least, and that's a long time.
It really is. Now, answer me this, if you can. I've heard, I've followed this from the beginning, and there's been so much information that I don't know what came from where anymore, but the girl, I believe she was the witness responsible for the first sketch. Was she the one that said that he looked at her a certain type of way and she instantly felt uneasy? She said hello to him or something?
Well, we don't know any of that stuff. I mean, that's never been in the papers or anything like that. Now, you hear other YouTubers that are, known for grifting and scamming, talking a lot about, different things people say and did, but we don't have any evidence whatsoever that was said at all. Could be true. But based on the past, the information that they've put out that's false and sort of the nature of who they are, it's hard to put any trust in it. It has to be like steadily putting out accurate information over a long period of time where people can trust you, instead of just telling people things that aren't, I don't know. It's hard to explain. For some reason...
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. In the true crime world, people believe anything that they believe anybody who says things that they wish were true, they support those people. I put out stuff that, I do speculate reasonably on facts, but I try to put out just the known information and then speculate reasonably on that. You're not going to hear me talking about the Illuminati and all this other crazy stuff. Okay. Yeah.
No, right. And like I said, I couldn't remember if I had heard that from a factual source or if it was just, somebody else. But
yeah, it's hard to know. I've never seen that in the news or anything like that.
I was just wondering if this guy was just giving off. Like, I can just picture him kind of just standing and staring. I mean, as a 13, 14-year-old girl, that would terrify me. Or at the very least, it would make me extremely uneasy. And then if you think you've left the guy behind, and then he turns up again, coming at you across a bridge, and you have nowhere to go. I mean, it's a horror that's unimaginable.
Yeah, no, it's. I've told the story. I won't tell it again, but I've had similar moments in my life where I had that feeling, and a couple times, I think both times, where I was in a dangerous situation, but it didn't, one I ran away from, the other one, I think the person changed their mind. So
I think he changed his mind too. I know that story that you're talking about.
Yeah, that one was always weird. So I always feel like that. I know exactly that feeling. It's just absolute panic and terror. I had but it just, I can't imagine it continuing forward where it never went away. It got worse. That's the part that's just, ooh, Jesus. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry I didn't have anything to contribute. I just, I just think it's going to end up being a lot simpler.
What do you mean?
Of a situation.
No, we were just having a conversation. That's contributing.
I'm sorry?
But we were having a conversation. I thought you were contributing. That's what that is. You are contributing. It's not like you didn't contribute.
I would like to think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
Right. No, I guess while I was holding, I was thinking, why am I even calling in? I don't have anything to say except that, I just think that it was pretty simple as far as, murders go. I think that he knew why he was going out there. I think his jacket was stuffed with provisions. I think that he was just hoping that he was going to find somebody. And why he chose 2 people, I don't know. Maybe he thought that they were kids, and so they were easy.
That's what I think. I think he was just made an assessment. 2 little kids, they'd respond to probably a gun, and they would just do what I said. And maybe he had his eye on one of them. Maybe something like that. Maybe killed one of them before the other one. And that's another thing too. Is there's just one killer, in my opinion. So that means one of them had to watch the other friend die first, and then the fear that they felt after that must have just been, 10,000 times worse than even what we were just talking about. Because now they know it's not gonna end well for them, but they were still there, Yeah.
Right.
It's a nightmare.
Right, and I have a daughter, and I was a girl that age once, and it's just horrific. And I just hope against hope that they catch this guy soon. I haven't been able to settle on how I feel, if I feel that they know who he is or have no clue who he is. It depends on the day of the week that you ask me.
Yeah.
I would tend to lean toward they have no clue.
Yeah. So.
But anyway, I hear you have other calls. I'm going to let you go here. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, thanks for calling in. It contributed.
Yeah, take care.
It was good. All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. All right, 408. You have to unmute yourself. Hello? Yes.
Ray, how are you?
Pretty good. Who's this?
This is Seema from the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah.
Go Dubs.
But what was the pause? What was the pause when I said, who is this? You went, this is that really your name?
No, that's really my name.
Okay. All right, what's going on?
Hey, I just wanted to give you a call, say, thank you. I've been watching you for a couple of years now, so just want to say I really admire how much work you put into, what you do for these cases, and it's good to have someone who's like level-headed, kind of taking some of this stuff on. So I just did want to ask you, I remember not too long ago you had, I can't remember the lady's name, it was Kayleen?
Yeah, Sarah Kayleen.
She was like, yeah, her, like, with the most recent press conference and the second sketch, like, it's really kind of depressing, because it just kind of seemed like, man, they got nothing. That's what it seemed like. So when you had Kayleen on, I felt like a lot of hope, because her kind of take on it.
Well, just to let you know really quick, just so her name is Kaylin.
Kaylin.
Not Kayleen. I said it accidentally that way too, so I just want to make sure that we say it right, because I get called Gary, Greg, and Craig, so anyways, all right.
Kaylin.
Okay, yeah, Kaylin. Okay, go ahead.
I was just wondering, after that conversation, I felt kind of hopeful, but how much do you think that's true, or where are you on that?
On which part that she said?
Kind of how she was talking about how she feels that law enforcement does have a good sense of who it is. Like, hey, dude, we know what movies you're watching. We know this, and that, and it's trying to draw that person out to get that reasonable.
Well, her experience in this kind of stuff is way more than mine. She was actually a police officer for many years, and then went into the criminal. It's not really profiling; it's behaviorist at this point. But so she can look at behavior, and so maybe she picked up on something that a lot of us wouldn't. We all heard that the words that were used sort of suggested that they were kind of on to somebody, that they knew who the person was, maybe, or had a good suspect. But that's what it sounds like. I just don't have, myself, I can't tell you yes or no if I think that. But, maybe go with what she said. Since she has a lot more experience in that.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I'm hoping is it's past time for this to be settled. So definitely, you just kind of hope that they know more. There's a lot of things we don't know, so we can't say, law enforcement is blowing the case. Like I feel like a lot of people out there like to, play Monday morning quarterback, but it's just that, at some point they're professionals, So
yeah,
I mean, hopefully, her perspective on it was or has some credence. But
yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in some aspects, it wouldn't be that great because that means that they know exactly what it is. They just don't have any evidence.
Yeah, and that's why I'm just like, how could that
Or
be
enough.
like if you do have that sense, because I'm sure that you can have some reason to go get evidence or get a warrant or pull that person out. But and also I was going to say, I'm really like surprised this guy hasn't been caught, just because you'd think someone like this who's kind of gone under the radar wouldn't stand out. But like the fact that something about him irked maybe so much for her to pull out his phone, like I don't think this is a guy that it's going to be shocking. I feel like this is someone, like people around him probably like, yo, this guy's like got a couple screws loose, that they were tipped off by his presence.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's weird. Was he, creepy in that way when they saw him? Or was he just kind of creepy because he was sitting there and they walked by and thought that was weird, but then forgot, and then... Or was he, acting really wacky at the time? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But, again, just wanted to say, thank you for all your work. And I enjoy watching your channel. So, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing an awesome job.
Well,
so,
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. Call in again. All right, see you later. All right. Yeah, that's some great calls tonight. Yeah, and if you haven't hit the like button, make sure you hit that like button really quick. All right. Seems like there was a lot more people watching than
Hit the
like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, 20, 25, 30, hit the like button, 40, 40, can I hit a 40, can I hit a 40, can I hit a 50, hit the like button, hit the like button.
30, now 5, I'm 35.
Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you should, unless you're only interested in the Delphi case, okay? Because 6 days a week, and I cover tons and tons of other cases that get no coverage at all. Some are really old, some are recent, missing persons, cold cases, more recent, some are really old, even from the 50s. And they're really interesting, especially since the newspapers back in the day had way better coverage. I mean, we're talking, it was just unbelievable the detail they would put in those. Hey, thanks, Trudy Richard. Now I need to know why Zozo wanted to get a hold of you so badly. I just have to know, man. Yep. So, yes, the lines are open now. If anybody wants to call in. And what you do is you dial the number on the pinned post, and then the meeting ID and passcode are at the top of the screen there. Yeah. It was probably, what's the mascara you're using? Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Oh, the light's kind of weird on my face. Yeah, I think those are all really good callers, really, even the ones that I was arguing with, it's interesting listening to someone else's perspective that wouldn't be enough evidence. I tell you what, if would be for me, though. Absolutely would be for me. Oh, really? Sorry about that, Trudy. Man, that sucks. The numbers are in the pinned post up above in the chat. See that, Timothy? Look at here on the screen. Watch. Right here at the top, you just click on it, and there's the phone number. All right, and then the phone number. I mean, the meeting ID and the passcode are in the chat itself. I mean, on the show itself on the screen. Well, thanks, Paul Hallett. Yeah, I remember I was looking at the Paul. Says Gray gives a voice to the voiceless victims, especially those who didn't have anything like YouTube to spread the word on their case. Yeah, there's so many of those. It's unbelievable. So many cases. Some of them, it's so bizarre. You find a reference to them on a state cold case site, and there's like one sentence, and then you look them up, and there's like 50 newspaper articles with all kinds of description, and you can map it all
victims,
out.
Especially those who didn't have anything like YouTube to spread the word on their case.
Yeah. Well, here's one. 719, you're on. Hello, 719? Yep. Who's this?
Yeah. So,
Oh, Timothy called it. All right, how's it going?
yeah. I had trouble finding the number there real quick, but I found it.
Yeah.
No, yeah, but like, I just, every time I think about what they went through, I feel like I had an experience that was similar to that where, one of my friends was driving me home, but instead of like dropping me off, he drove around a couple times, and I was still in the car. And I was locked in there, and I was like shaking, dude, like seriously, like shaking.
Yeah, that's similar. That's just like mine. Were you like, how old were you at the time?
Like 9 years old. Yeah, I was at like a summer camp thing.
And how old was he, the guy that driving you?
He was like 25, I would say.
And it was just
like
20. You and him, huh?
Yeah, so like he had like 2 other people in there.
Yeah.
And he dropped him off, and then I was like the only one left, dude. Like,
oh jeez.
But he went by like, so my house was like 20 miles, so I went like 20 miles, and then he went by my house, and then he dropped me off after though. But he was just like sitting there. It was like the weirdest shit I've ever had.
Making a decision at that point, right? That's almost
right.
exactly.
I was thinking like I want to get out of the car, but I was just like shaking and my heart was like pounding, and I didn't know. I had no idea what to do. I was just a kid.
That's so crazy. That's so exactly the same. Mine was a basketball camp, driven home in a van. I was the last one left, and then I had my hand on the door, heart beating quick. He drove by my house, even though I said, "Hey, I live right here." He just kept going. And then eventually he turned around and took me there. But it's sort of like they had a decision they made, right? Do you feel like that in your case?
Well, yeah, but in mine he didn't. Well, he wasn't quiet though the whole time. He was like trying to talk to me, but I just had like really creepy vibes. You know what I mean? Like he asked me if I want something to eat and stuff like that. It was kind of weird, man.
Oh,
I was like, well, no, I just wanted to go home. Like
Jesus, yeah, that's.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was just weird, man. And so like that helps me like think about what happened to them. But except in their case, something bad happened. You know what I'm saying? Like in mine, I thought something was gonna happen, but nothing did. So I was able to get home and then like unwind, but that's not what happened in their case. So it's kind of really. I guess we can both relate on that type of thing,
Yeah, it's totally, I totally, 100% relate, and that's what I guarantee it. They felt exactly like that. Abby and Libby did, except it just that's the thing. It became a reality. The fear that you felt, I just can't imagine that, the horror that would be.
But my opinion is that I don't think he lives in Delphi. I would say he lives probably a commute away, which means like at least 30 minutes, not an hour away. Is my opinion. Because there's no way he lives in Delphi. You think by now they would, you know what I mean? Like someone would have turned him in at least.
Yeah.
Or they'd had a bunch of tip-ins. So.
All right.
Which unfortunately means he might not be caught for a while. I don't know. So.
Yeah. Well, we got this
unfortunate.
lady that in the chat here named Anne who emailed me all the stuff that she gets set on journeys by the victims. You know, like she goes on journeys and she gets injured too, and she wants everybody to believe that she's really onto something. Okay, but unfortunately, we're just gonna have to remove her from the channel here. Hold on a second. There we go. Good. Yeah, she emailed me a bunch of times, and I said, this is ludicrous crap. And she takes these little journeys. Like, she says she communicates with the girls, and they put her on journeys and did all these different things, and she keeps emailing different people about it. Okay? I'm not interested in that crap at all on my own. Sorry, I didn't mean to take away from what you were saying, but yeah, I don't think he... I don't think I've ever thought he lived right there in Delphi. I think he lives kind of, he might not even live anywhere near there, to be honest. He'd be familiar with it from before at some point, because it does seem like when you kind of look at it, the way he would maneuver and travel around on the trail, like he would have had to have some kind of prior knowledge to be able to navigate. I don't think he walked back through the creek and then back over the bridge, obviously. So he must have known how to get from the other side of the creek back to where his car was. Seems like that'd be kind of tough.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and then how would he have known, like, that it ended right there, you know? So he had to have known, like, the trail ended. He knew that already. So, like, but how did he must have been there before at some point, you know what I mean? Like, he knew kind of the layout of everything.
Yeah, or, it could be that he was from out of town, came into town and was kind of scouting it out for a few days, and then finally made his move on that day. And so that might be how he figured it out the area, and he's not necessarily from there at all. That actually would make the most sense.
Way more sense.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, because it's like that at that point he has no connection to the area whatsoever, and could have killed and taken off, and nobody would have a clue who he was. And that's what it appears at this point. But it could be that they do know who it is based on what other people seem to think and say. So who the hell knows? Yeah.
No, yeah, but I one more thing real quick. I think that he definitely is like a stalker type person, that he escalated. And this could be like his first kill, but he just escalated to this, you know what I mean? But he was always like a stalker, like voyeur type person, you know what I mean? Like, kind of.
Yeah, like he was just.
He probably is married and has kids and stuff. But he's one of those people that he's mostly by himself a lot. He likes to be by himself a lot. So.
Yeah, like in his grandmother's basement. I'm just kidding. That's what Zozo says.
No, not like that. But you know what I'm saying. Like he has family, but he's able to like kind of compartmentalize a little bit. But he spends a lot of time by himself. You know what I mean? Like thinking about stuff. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so the thing is, I think he might not, I think he knows the area, but it could just be that he got to know the area in a short amount of time. See, a lot of people, so that's the same thing, though. It doesn't mean that he has to be from there and live there and done all that stuff. It could just be that he walked across a bridge, walked down below, maybe kind of figured out, I don't know if he ever walked across the creek. I mean, that'd be a weird thing to test out one day.
I don't think he did.
Yeah.
No.
That'd be a weird thing to test out, but he might have known the area just because he walked around and hung out there for a few days.
Right, and that, like I said, that makes the most sense to me because, I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, why would you do it in the area that you're from? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly. Like you're from there, and then everybody goes, "Oh yeah, well that's so and so," right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if he was from there and he knew the area, everybody would have recognized him already. So that's the thing. The voice and the video. That's why I don't think he's from there, because of a town of, 3,000 people. Nobody knows who this person is. So that means he doesn't live in Delphi, you would think, right?
So he could live anywhere. He could live in a big city that's nearby. I don't know the city's nearby, but who knows? He could live in a whole state away. Maybe he was just visiting. He could live in a whole different area.
Right.
So.
Yep. Exactly.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate all the work you're doing, man. I'll just keep watching, but thank you.
Well, thanks
for taking the call, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Timothy. All right, thank you. Timothy Cecil. Yeah, they think he's... well, police seem to think that he is familiar with the area, right? But what we just said means he would be familiar with the area. Right, Zozo, right. Hey, everybody, he drools when he eats. Shit. Oh, my God. I'm watching too many shows on TV, I think. Well, that's if you believe those statements about Colleen, what you just typed in. We don't know if there was actually a girl that was walking a dog that saw him. We don't know if the flannel shirt guy did. We don't know any of that stuff factually, okay? Because again, that's all coming from a grifter's YouTube channel. You know, it could be very well be true. We don't know, okay? Very well could be true. We don't know that yet, though. At some point, maybe we will. I just don't trust anything coming from there. All right. Unfortunately, a lot of people do, which is weird given the track record. You know, somebody who says that they're working with law enforcement in Delphi, and that they're pre-approving their videos to get credibility, and that's just not happening. And you know how you know that's not happening? Because if you were a person working with law enforcement on YouTube, you wouldn't tell a soul that you were working with anybody in law enforcement on a case if you were actually doing it. You wouldn't do it. Okay? And anybody that would say that they were is somebody that you would never work with again, ever. So you know that that's totally bullshit. Okay? Man, I don't know how these people are getting suckered over there. It's just unbelievable. Scary, actually. Yeah, a lot of crazy rumors. Some of them are retreads at this point. I haven't seen Rita. Where's Rita Schaefer? Yeah, Rita Schaefer wasn't here last night or today. Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty big one. That's right. There was an abortion attempt on the early theories. Now that's coming back again. It's just so idiotic. It makes me angry, you know. You know, this one person, oh, look at that. Using digital DNA, you could see through the jacket some forceps, and what was going on was that, oh my God. Imagine having to deal with that when you have a rational mind, you know. Yeah, those are actual theories that are out there. Oh, was she here last night? I don't know. I didn't see her. Why are you guys talking about Facebook right here? Jesus. Oh, I see. Oh, that's your old picture. I thought you switched your picture up. You saw an alien? Are sure it wasn't a GoPro on the shoulder? No, I don't know if they located the vehicle. They've always known what type of vehicle it was. They just wanted to know who the driver was. Yeah, it's ridiculous, Colleen. It's crazy people that come up with stuff because they're bored. No facts whatsoever, nothing. They just say it as a theory. What if, and then come up with this whole crazy thing. You know, the whole, what if this is true? Oh, wow. And then, therefore, this is what he would have under the coat. What if he was a baker? Oh, my God. I think he's got a pound of flour, some sugar, some butter. Oh, look at that. He's even got a frying pan. Oh, my God, a frying pan under that coat. You can see it right there. See how it sticks out? Yeah, a rolling pin. For God's sakes. Yeah, whatever you want to think it is, you can see whatever you want now under that jacket. Because as soon as you say, oh, okay, well, I think he's an astronaut. Well, now you see the helmet, all right, let's see. Yeah, it sucks, Cammy, that they do that. Really, it's unbelievable. The family has had to deal with it the whole time, and that's why I'm always so... that's why people don't like me. There's a lot of people who don't like me because I am an ass to the people who come up with those ridiculous theories like that, okay? And yes, everybody, there are crazy theories.
Thanks for all your work on this case, Gray.
Well, thank you, Kay Jones. From the UK. So here's the truth, everybody. Listen to this. Listen to this. This is a real statement I'm making. I'm sorry if it's going to trigger you. But here's the thing. You know how there's this statement that everybody makes?
Gosh, Gray, you have to respect my opinion. It's just my opinion. You have to respect it.
Well, no, I don't have to respect your opinion. But I do respect your right to have an opinion. But once you tell me what your opinion is, I am not required to respect it at all. Okay? And I think everybody needs to get rid of the notion that everybody's opinion needs to be respected. I don't agree with that. Okay? Because some people have idiotic opinions. You know, like a pedophile comes up to you and goes, hey, here's what I like to do. Are you supposed to go, well, I respect your opinion, but no, you don't. You absolutely shun and avoid them and tell them that their opinion is ludicrous and stupid. Okay? So that is the reality of it, everybody. Everybody should respect the right for somebody to have an opinion, but you are not required to respect somebody's opinion. And that's why people get angry at me, because as soon as I hear an opinion that I find ludicrous, I let them know about it. Okay? And then I go, well, it's just my opinion, though, Gray. I get it. I know, you're right. But I get to say what I want back when you say it. All right. Anyways, so here's Brianna, right? I bet this is going to be another troll. Who knows? Hey, Brianna. Going once. Hello.
My bad. Sorry.
Okay, so you're you're not a troll. Okay, good. What's going on?
No, I'm not a troll. How are you?
Hey, not too bad.
I've been watching your stream for a while about this. I actually live in Indiana.
Oh yeah.
So this particular case is of very significant interest to me. I wish I had theories. I've been up to Delphi. I've walked all the routes that that everybody shows you as well as other people. I just still to this day, I'm mind boggled. I can't figure out how this happened and somebody didn't see something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but the killing was done when there's nobody that could see something.
No, I mean, I get that, but, I mean, there's been some conjecture. I don't want to speculate about time of death, things that are just very uncomfortable for me to even think about. Yeah. I have a daughter that now is just a little older than these girls, but at that point in time, she was their same age. I just... there were just too many people out and about. I walking that trail,
Hold on a second. Hey, thank you, Debbie. Thank you. All right, go ahead. Walking.
I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No, I was just thanking somebody in the chat because I
sorry.
couldn't tag them, so I felt bad.
Oh, I just feel like, I don't know. You know, there's a lot of speculation all over the world. People from all over watch your stream, and there are people like you that are covering this. I just feel like if somebody saw something, they're just not talking. I don't know why.
What was?
Oh.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
No, what did you say about talking? Oh, what happened? Oh, hold on. You muted yourself. Just a second. You gotta unmute yourself. *6.
Oh.
Right. There you go.
I'm sorry. It keeps muting. I'm a little not familiar with this concept. Sorry. I apologize.
It's all right.
I just feel like somebody saw something, and they're just not talking. I don't know what else to say, but we can all speculate on what happened or how it happened, or, did it happen at 3:00 in the afternoon, or, there's just so much speculation about the timeline of the crime scene, right? Am I wrong?
I'm sorry. It might. You know what happened? Ask the question again because somebody typed in. I read somewhere where that some girl crossed the bridge shortly after they did and heard a scream. No, that never happened. Okay. No. My whole thing is I got to keep debunking. So go ask the question again. I apologize. Hello? God, she muted herself again. Hold on. you gotta unmute yourself.
Oh, it keeps telling me you're not allowing me to unmute myself. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I clicked the. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Apparently my phone doesn't want to cooperate tonight. My question is this: that bridge on a good day is dangerous, horribly dangerous, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're careful on it, it's not really that dangerous. Like if you walk in the middle and you kind of watch where you're going, obviously it's not the safest place in the world, or they wouldn't say not to go on it, but a lot of people had been on it. I don't think I've heard of anybody ever falling off of it or anything like that, but yeah, go ahead. I mean, you muted again? Yeah, you just don't touch anything, just speak on your phone. Yeah,
I am. No, my phone keeps kicking me to the unmute screen. I don't know why. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
My question is this for anybody out there. These girls had to walk all the way across this bridge. I don't know. It just, and it's a very steep incline down the other side.
Yeah.
I just still can't understand, seeing it in person, how they got across the bridge, got to the other side, went down the hill, as we know they did.
Yeah.
And nobody heard anything.
Because they're the only ones over there. That's why. See, the thing is, it's not weird to me at all. It's like, when the girls went across the bridge, there was not a soul in front of them or at the park, other than there might have been somebody way back by the Freedom Bridge or something like that. There was nobody in that direction, because once you get to the bridge, most people don't cross it. Libby had done it many times with Kelsey and other family members. They'd gone across many, many times, so she felt really comfortable doing it. Abby, not so much, so she was kind of slowly walking across. And so when they started walking across, there was nobody in front of them at all. And then they were told to go down the hill, and then they ended up across the creek. And then it wasn't until, I would say, 30 to 40 minutes later where some other people showed up. And I don't think they were even alive at that point. So there was nobody there to hear anything. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it's not weird. It's just that was the. Oh shit! Hold on. She got muted again. That was the attempt to. That's what he used to, as part of his plan. It was to make sure that there was nobody in front of them and that they were alone. So there you go.
So is that kind of, I mean, in like just a basic theory, is that kind of like if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there, does anybody hear it? Is that, I mean, kind of that concept, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of, but it's just there's nobody around to hear anything, and we don't even know if they screamed. How do you know if they screamed?
Well, obviously we don't. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And then here's the other question I have for you. With the Indiana State Police, and I'm not putting down any law enforcement agency here in the state of Indiana, because I would not. But with the Delphi Police and the ISP, why did they edit the video the way that they did? That bugs me. I think that is the thing that's
they didn't want us to see. First of all, it was shaky, so they stabilized the suspect, because they wanted us to be able to see who that person was. The rest of the video has Abby on it, and probably way more of the bridge and just other artifacts that really don't help identify the killer. I'd like to see the whole thing as well, and the audio up until the down the hill part. I'd love to hear and see all of that, but apparently, they just wanted us to hear the voice and see the image, because I'm not really sure. I think if I could have the whole video, that I could figure something out and do something with it. That's just how I think. I think differently than other people. I'm not like I actually think outside the box. Believe it or not, people think, oh, you're just like a robot. You do. No, that's not true at all. I always think of things differently than other people do. And that's why, I come up with some of the things that I do. But I'd like to see it. Does it help us? Maybe at the time they just didn't want to show Abby or anything like that. And that's why they didn't show it to us. I think are you on now? I don't know why you keep getting muted.
I am. Yeah. I just wonder, these girls didn't go willingly, right? And so we've figured out at this point in time there was a weapon, right? Obviously.
Well, but that would mean that they they didn't go because this is going to be fun. I mean, but you ultimately are choosing when somebody puts a gun on you, you're being forced, but you're moving with them in their direction with your own mind. Like, you didn't run somewhere else. So the gun forced them to go down the hill and then across the creek. And we don't know if that's what... I actually think that they may have tried to escape across the creek, and then he caught them on the other side. That's what I think. Oh man, she gets muted every... I'm not muting anything. She just gets muted, like, automatically.
No, I apologize. It's my phone. I don't know what the deal is. I'm sorry. New phone. I've had it 2 days, so it's going really well.
All right. Yeah.
I think that's my biggest question is they've edited out what I feel like. I mean, we don't know how much video segment that iPhone recorded, right? But it's way more than they're giving out, and I feel like they edited out. I don't know. I mean, teenage girls, if it'd been a knife, maybe things would have gone differently before they left the bridge.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say.
I don't know. I mean, I think they gave us all we needed to see at first, but I think as time goes by, they could release more of the video, because it's really just a small video of the killer. It's a tiny little portion that they cropped out and then stabilized. However, how they did it. I did a different stabilization than they did.
I agree, and I've seen yours.
So it's a different one. But that's all they were doing. But I think now maybe, why not release as much as you can, and maybe somebody else will Well, the one problem is that they say things, and they wanted the family to tell them what was said. Now, if you put that out there, do you know how many people would be coming up with the most ludicrous things that they claim they hear is said? It would just be mind-boggling. And I for one, would just hate watching all the videos, one after the other, of just complete garbage. Oh, did you hear what they said? I think he said forceps. Oh, did you hear that? He said... And they would just come up with... It would be like EVP reading. Anything that wasn't clear, they would say it said whatever they needed it to be said to match a theory that they had. And she was muted again. But maybe it allowed me to...
I'm unmuting. I hit the button. I'm sorry. All I can say is this. I met some of these people earlier this year on the anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
They're wonderful human beings. Great people.
What people?
Some of the family.
Oh, yeah.
I went up for the anniversary, and they were the kindest, most loving, small. It was,
Yeah, Becky and Mike and I met Becky, Mike, and Kelsey. I've met all of them. They're just really great people.
Yeah. I don't know. It was, we went up. The trail was like we were under so much snow here, so there was no being on the trail. But lots of news media coverage. Well, not a lot, but a lot of news media coverage. At this point in time, my question becomes this. At 4 years, this case is going so cold, so fast. These girls, their families deserve answers. Somebody has them. You have to admit that, right?
That
somebody out there knows.
Yeah, well, maybe, but nobody knew Ted Bundy was doing anything because he just kept everything to himself.
That's true too. You're right about that.
There's people that they're killers and they're like Dennis Radar. Nobody knew what he's doing. So it's better to have nobody that knows what you're doing to be a killer like that. Now there might be somebody now that they've seen the video and the audio, they really feel like they know, but they're not saying anything. So that could be the truth. But maybe there might not anybody that is intimately in the know of what he did. Like they don't, I'm sure it's really stupid for a serial killer like person to be talking about what they did.
That's true. I just, at this point in time, I think that the Indiana State Police, who have taken over this case, but Delphi is still running as well. I think it's time for them to release more of the video. I think it's time for them to show more people whatever they have. And unfortunately, I know iPhones can record for a long time. I think that while there may not be video footage, there's probably audio footage that they don't want the rest of us to have.
Yeah, I think I'm sure it probably recorded black video or very little light and then audio for a while. That's what I think.
Well, great. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, we even got through all the mutes.
Yeah, sorry about the muting. I don't know. New phone.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Next time. There's always a next time. All right. Well, thanks for calling in.
Of course.
Appreciate
Sir,
it.
have a good night.
You too. Bye. Now we're waiting for Cooge. I'm just turned off the phone calls at this point. Okay. I've already been on here for 3 hours and 20 minutes. So, what was the question that you had there? Could be. Is that a joke? Like could be? Could be. I think they were just somebody looking for attention. I think we all have seen him. It's not rare for the Oh, so you think it's... I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think that we... it could be somebody that we've all seen, but I just don't think so. I noticed a word that law enforcement hasn't used when they describe the people that loser could be ex-brother, cousin. No one says husband. I don't know. I think I've heard that before. You know. You mean in the chat here nobody says that? I've heard husband a million times. I don't even know what that means. Well, what makes you think that there wasn't a gun, 15 Lee, when I just told you that Abby said, is that a gun? That's a gun. And then law enforcement says they hear a click and they think that that was the gun. So when you say that, it's like you're just kind of, despite what everybody else says, you want in your own mind not to believe it. I think the gun was used to control, and then there was another weapon used for the injuries that killed them. Yeah. Yeah. Probably just weren't listening that good, Cooch. Yeah. See, I have somebody described to me what was on the video 4 years ago. And it was somebody who, it's third person because they were told what was on it by somebody who actually saw it, and that's one of the family members. And they saw it, and they wrote down word for word all the things that they were told that was on it. And so that's why I put a lot of weight into it, because I actually know who the person is in relation to the family member. So there you go. That's not really mind-boggling information. It doesn't give away anything that only the killer would know. The girls were probably worried he could have a gun. No, they could actually see it. You kind of missed the whole point there, 15. I'm not going to have a debate with you, though. You can just believe what you want. I don't respect your opinion, though. Hey, Pink Lady Luck. All right. How's it going? I'm almost done with the live, though, Pink Lady Luck. I've been on here for 3 hours and 23 minutes at this point. Yeah, I'd like to just see the video myself so we don't have to keep saying, this is what I heard, this is what I heard, this is what I just want to see it myself, okay? It doesn't sound like there's a ton of them, DSK. Doesn't sound like there's a ton. Wow, Jennifer's burning the midnight oil over there. It's what does cha-ching mean for that comment? That doesn't make any sense. Jesus. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, those were good callers. Oh, and it's 2:15 over in where Patricia lives. Must be East Coast. Don't know. Don't know how long the wait, what was that? The recording was. All family was allowed to see was up until down the hill. Okay? So I really doubt it just kind of cut off right then. I think there's a lot more. There was some hints to that in some of the interviews that have been out there. Yeah. I usually go to bed at like 2 something because I do these shows so late. Yeah, there's some good callers on here tonight, Pink Lady Luck. I'm still trying to get the cha-ching part. Oh, the mom in the basement, the boy in the basement. Yeah, man, I had to go way up there. Jeez. Oh God. Tell you what. Hey Zozo, I'm gonna send you a hoodie. Okay, another hoodie, a different one. If it turns out that this guy lives in his mother's basement and plays video games all day, I'll send the hoodie, okay? Alright. You don't have to send me, you just have to send me a super chat. $100. Oh, man. Alright, I'll bet you $100. Let's do it. 100 smackers. $100. I will bet you $100 that when they arrest this guy, he wasn't living in his mother's basement. Okay? That's the bet. You guys all hear this one? The bet is the killer does not live in his mother's basement. Alright? There we go. Alright. Well, we'll just know because when the arrest is made, we'll come back on and we'll be able to know about it. And shit, I'll send the 100 right then. Yeah, well, it doesn't need to be recorded. It's all right here. Okay? It doesn't need to be recorded. Oh, man. Man, that's a quick 100. Woohoo! Oh, my God. That's awesome. I'll add that to the... Well, part of it will go to charity, though. So. But you have to send that one through PayPal, though. Yeah, I don't want YouTube to get their little cut. All right. Oh, maybe that's right, Jack. And she's already aware. Although she lives in Australia, so that'd be tough. I didn't hear the guy say, "Get down the hill, mate." Get down the hill, mate. Hey, guys. Hey, guys. Down the hill, mate. Yeah, he didn't say that, so... Yeah, we know that wasn't the... He wasn't from Australia, and he wasn't living in Zozo's basement. Hey, come on, I was just saying. Gray, that second Moderna shot has been rough. Have many side effects, though it affects everybody. Oh yeah? What do you feel like? You got a fever and stuff? At least you can laugh. Yeah, so some people have, you have swollen glands and everything. I'm getting Pfizer, and apparently that one's less. But either way, it's good news, Gen H. That means it's really kicking in at this point. And you're going to be like a fortress when that sucker's done. And watching tomorrow or the very next day, you're going to feel just fine. Yeah, Pfizer doesn't have as bad as side effects apparently on the second one. For most people. I mean, some people still have side effects. But yeah, I think I'm open this year, Pink Lady Luck. Yeah, I cover it every Sunday night with call-in shows. So people can... I mean, tonight was one of our best call-in shows, I think. It seemed like most people were normal. I had 3 little kids calling in to be trolls, but other than that, it was good. No, it's definitely safe, Uncle Racer, okay? Are you one of those paranoid weirdos that think there's nanobots and shit like that in it? My God. Yeah, you'll be better tomorrow. Watch. Tomorrow night's show, you're going to be just woo! Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Badmouth little kids. Yeah. Is that something new there, Janie? I mean, what does it have to do with anything that we were talking about? Really? California is... They got some great land there, but everything else is a joke. The politics, the overall, just how everything works there, it's not good. It's not good. It's just like Oregon. Same thing. And that's where I live. It's an embarrassment, really. Our governor is just one of the dumbest people that's ever lived. Right up there with LeBron James. I mean, LeBron James is one of the dumbest people that's ever lived. And he tries to seem intellectual. But he's just... And here's the thing, everybody. You don't have to have a high IQ in basketball. Listen, you don't have high IQ if you're a good passer. If you have good court vision. It just means that you were one of the lucky people that were born with that. You can see the overlaps and you pass it. Doesn't mean you have a high IQ. It means that you're lucky. Okay, you can't be taught to be a good passer. You can learn the general skills of how to pass, so you could be like a robotic passing. But to see the sort of the overlap timing of different people and being aware of where everybody is, that's just, you're born with it. All right, that's the truth. And LeBron James is a moron, okay? He's one of the dumbest people that's ever lived, yet he thinks he's a brilliant person. God, what a joke. He's gotten so much... He deserves every bit of hell he's got from his stupid-ass, irresponsible comment that he made the other night. I even tweeted back to his comment the same day, and then after that, everybody else was like, "Oh yeah, what did it?" I mean, of course, it was already. I wasn't first. I'm just saying. I could just tell what a moron he was at that time. Yeah, God, he's like, this guy's next. Hey, LeBron, did you care at all that the officer saved the life of the black girl that the other black girl was about to stab, and that girl wasn't doing anything? Or does it only matter to you when a white cop attacks a black, shoots or injures another black person? And see, that's where the problem is. It's like, why don't you look at each case, how it turned out? And how about this, everybody? No matter what race you are, how about this? Don't resist the police. When they come up to you and say, put your hands behind your back, do exactly what they tell you to do. When they tell you to get out of your car, get out of your damn car. Okay? Do not argue with them. Don't pull the little bullshit, because every time you do that, your odds of getting injured or hurt go up dramatically. It's so amazing when you have these guys, they're leaning against the car, they're getting their handcuffs put on, and then they go, and they try to bolt and get away. And then they get injured or killed because they reached for something, and and then they act like it's the cop's fault every time. No, how about you just do what they told you to do? It's unbelievable. Man, it's unbelievable, some of the behavior that's out there. So I think it would be a lot more beneficial if LeBron would just say, listen, everybody, when cops tell you to do something, do it. Comply to what they're saying, and you will not be killed. Okay? Because even in the George Floyd case, he resisted over and over and over again. I cannot support what Chauvin did whatsoever, because he had no regard for the life of Floyd that entire time. But at the same time, Floyd wouldn't have been in the position on the ground had he just sat in the back seat of the car instead of doing all the crap that he was doing, trying to kick people out of the way and roll out of the car. All right, so again, it's another case where if you just comply, it was a simple case, you would have been alive. All right, I can't. Chauvin, though, is the way he just didn't give a shit about the life of Floyd is the part that really he got exactly. I did not care that he got the sentence that he got, or whatever sentence is going to be. It's going to be a harsh sentence, and I'm okay with it. Doesn't bother me a bit. Yeah, I mean, I say it all the time, Pink Lady Luck. I think everybody's been. I mean, anybody with a brain has been trying to say this the whole time. Every single one of these shootings happens when somebody's not complying. Even the accidental shooting last week in Chicago, where the lady, she thought she had her taser, and it's really obvious because she was like, taser, 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 and then she goes, oh crap, I shot. You know, that incident would not have happened had that person not tried to get back in his vehicle and evade the police. It would not have happened. He was already about to get handcuffed, and that would not have happened. And I 100% believe that was an accident. And I think most people with rational minds can tell just by watching it. You know, yes, she's been on the force. Oh, she should have known this. She should have known that. Weird shit happens when you are in the heat of a moment like that. You're really focused on something else. And her mind went on autopilot and grabbed the wrong weapon. That's just the reality. They don't get trained enough on the taser pulling. All of their training basically is pulling a gun, firing at different targets, and center mass and all that. That's what they're trained on. And every once in a while they train on pulling the use of the taser out, right? So it's like your mind just takes over and you grabbed your gun. And we're not robots, and so sometimes crap like that happens. Yet again, that person would have been alive, easily alive right now, had he not resisted police. And then, see, he got shot because he resisted arrest. The error came in the weapon that was drawn to be shot, to be used to shoot him with. They meant to use non-lethal or less lethal force with the taser, and that's where the accident. But the reason he was shot at was because he resisted police. That's the truth, right? Does anybody out there not agree with that? Yeah, it wouldn't even matter if you disagreed. I wouldn't even argue with you. You can go do your own thing. Well, that's good for you, CJ. Something's wrong with your brain, obviously. So anyways, I'm going to get the hell out of here, everybody. And I'm going to... CJ is one of the trolls that shows up every time we do a show. Contrarian, just for the sake of being one. Yeah. Can't think their self out of a box. Or is it a paper bag? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of you off the channel, because every time you show up, you're always that. So, good luck. Good luck out there. Hey, thanks, Peter. Thanks for calling in. That was a good one. From New York. Yeah. All right. So I'm just going to go through these normally. All right, here we go. Thank you to Miss L. Rodriguez, Cairo, Sarah Beth, excuse me, Colagras. This is my allergy season. Kit Kat, Tia Marie, Amber Maiden, Daniel Maynard, Joshua Long, Dustin Schaefer. I think that's related to Rita Schaefer, right? Kat White, Lynette Burns, Michelle Nicholas, William Zambrano, that guy behind the tree, Leah Marie, Susie Heath, Allie Cake, let's see, Charleston Amy, Ria Mazzarone. Jay Case with a cat eye donation. Joshua Long. Hey, there's Patricia M right there. Jim Chaplin with a cat eye donation in there. Thank you. Very kind of you. Barbara Smith. Zozo. Paulette Leonard. Scott Holland. Joshua Long. Michelle Nicholas. Tia Marie.
Thank you.
Trudy Richard. Paul Hallett. Kay Jones. Debbie. And there we go at the end there. Patricia M. So thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. And just know that a large percentage of that will be going to charity at the end of the month. So check in on, what's today? Today's the 25th, so what would that be? Probably Friday maybe, or Thursday or Friday, whatever the 30th is. I think that's Friday. So come in, and you get to watch donation night. I'm probably going to be sending another 1,000 to the DNA fund that we already have 7,000 in, because we're using that to identify unknown bodies or unknown criminals, and using identifinders with Colleen Fitzpatrick. Oh, really? Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, you should. You guys should be able to do that, right? Because the money you're sending in gets used for sending in as donations. Yeah. I mean, a large portion of it. Yeah, no problem, Pink Lady Luck. Thank you, Darrell Greggs. All right. So thank you guys very much. Make sure you wash your hands. Wear your masks. You know, keep doing your distancing thing until we all get vaccinated, and then boom, should be good to go. It makes sense to me, right? Yes. And here's the thing, everybody. The vaccines are very safe and effective. You should go out and get one. If you don't want to get one, that's cool and everything, but don't try to convince anybody else not to get one because you don't want one. All right? Just kind of keep that to yourself. Do your own thing, but do not try to convince another soul not to get one. All right? Thank you. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and leave a comment after the show, okay? You know, I always do these shows and I forget to say, but, you know, have a conversation in there. Let people know what you think and whatnot. Okay? No, I don't. I don't have a stock in it. I just know that they work. I have doctors, brother that works in the healthcare industry, works at a large hospital, and then I have 2 doctors that are both really high-level, top-end doctors, and they talk about how great it is, okay? The technology that was used, all right? So I trust it, and I hope you guys trust it too. We need to get back to normal at some point, all right? The shots don't even hurt. You get a little sore arm. Maybe after the second one you get some side effects. But that's all just means it's working, kicking in. And about 3 weeks after the second one, you're like a damn fortress. And even if you caught it randomly, you have 0 chance of getting the severe COVID disease that you die from in the hospital. 0. That's what they say. Okay? All right, everybody. Right, Pink Lady Luck? It's true, right? Even Johnson & Johnson, they say, is 100% effective from the severe disease, even though it might be only 60 to 70% effective on the shot itself. That's right. But you can also not have side effects and it's still built up, right, Pink Lady Luck? It just means some people, you know, have different side effects. But even if you got the shot twice and you didn't have side effects, it doesn't mean it didn't build up in your system. Yeah. I know. I just want to be able to go do something. So there you go. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for showing up tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed the show on Delphi. I thought that was one of the best ones we've ever had. A lot of good callers. Good ideas. You know, some interesting stuff about the proof that you would need. But to me, if you did have that guy's face on the video, it would be 100%. I would definitely be voting guilty if you could see the guy's face and he admitted that was him, but then tried to claim it was somebody else that took over after he took him down the hill. Okay, forget it. All right. So thank you guys very much. We will see you guys tomorrow, as usual. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 2 and a 3. Oh, is that going to play? Come on, come on, come on, come on. Uh-oh. Oh, there it is.
And during this
Here we
whole
go, here we go.
time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector.
Projector on a certified human lie detector.
Gonna get ya
On a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my
nectar.
Professor Ray is gonna give another
lecture. Crime collector,
freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector.
fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector.
With all respect, y'all,
just remember I've a temper fucking gesture.
I have no agenda.
I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Projector on a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Prophetically is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, if he drills and eats sleeper meals.
Yeah, Zozo, you did say that he drools too. Okay, now is that part of it? No, it's really just lives in his mom's basement. Okay, that's it.
Hoppity poppy poppy pop, diddy diddy poppy pop pop. You don't just stop, come along, yo. Now give me what you got, cause I'm guaranteed to make you rock. I say 1, 2, 3, 4, tell me what, Mike, what are you waiting for? By now you can take a hunch and guess that I am the baby of the bunch, but that's okay, I still keep it strong. It's all I'm here to do is just to wither you behind, singing on and on and on and on. Beat don't stop until the break of dawn. I said it on and on and on and on like a hot diddy poppy poppy pop, diddy diddy poppy pop pop. Don't just stop, I come alive, yo. Give me what you got, cause I'm guaranteed to make you stop. Said 1, 2, 3, 4, tell me Wonder Mike, what are you waiting for? Thanks, Sarah M. Yeah! Woohoo! Woohoo!
Hey, Mary Lou, shut up. All right. Hey, thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it.
I said that already.
Yeah, but you're not me.
Oh, okay. Well, gee, great guy. You're so mean.
I was listening and doing my homework. I was listening and doing my work stuff. It was a great call-in show. Awesome. Sarah M. from the UK. Hey, Pink Lady Luck, you never sent me your address to send you the mug, damn it. You can be on the pictures up here. Jesus.
Try to wait and listen. I sit back with this brand new invention, something that'll hold me tightly, flows like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. Turn off the lights, it all glows to the extreme. I rock the mic like a vandal, light up the stage and let the chump like a candle. Dance, cause the speakers that boom, killing your brain like a poisonous mushroom, deadly. When I play a dope melody, anything less than the best is a felony. Love it or leave it, better gain weight, better hit rolls that a kid don't play. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it. That's right. Don't worry, Pink Lady Lucky's not a stalker.
Yeah, well, what's the deal with that?
The party is jumping, with the bass kicked in and the beggars out pumping. Quick to the point, cause the point no faking. Cooking MCs like a pound of bacon, burning them, being quick and nimble. I go crazy when I hear the cymbal with a hi-hat, with a super tempo. I'm on a roll, time to go solo, rolling in my 5.0 with my ragtop pants and my hair can blow. The girlies on standby, waiting just to say hi. Did she stop? No, just drove on, pepped on, pursuing to the next stop. I pass a left, I'm headed to the next block. The fuck was it, y'all? Second into A1A, Detroit Avenue. Girls were hot, wearing less than bikinis. Rockman lovers driving Lamborghinis, jealous, cause I'm out getting mine. Shade was a gauge and Manila was a 9. Gunshots rings out like a bell. I grab a 9 out of her with shells falling on the concrete real fast. Jump in my car, slammed on the gas, bumper to bumper. Avenue's packed, time to get away from the Jack is Jack. Police wanna see, you know what I mean? Grassing up in front of the dope fiends. If there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Check out the hook on my DJ closet.
Alright, Mary Lou, you're good, man, you're good.
I know, John boy, jeez, you tell me that every time. I know I'm good at it.
Jeez, forget it, man, I'll never compliment you again.
No problem.
See, come on, Mary Lou isn't very nice, you guys. She's not very nice at all.
Hello? Oh, okay. Hey, John Boy, are you gonna rap at some point?
I don't think I'm ever gonna rap again. You always make me feel so bad about myself when I rap.
Well, because you're not very good at it.
See, that's what I'm talking about. You're never nice to me when I try to rap.
Well, it's hard to be nice to you when you're so terrible at it.
Jeez, you're so mean to me, Mary Lou.
What do you mean, who's Mary Lou? What is that supposed to mean? I'm Mary Lou. What are you talking about, this account? My God, I am Mary Lou. How could you possibly say that?
Yeah, now I do have to defend that. How did you not know that that was Mary Lou, this account?
Yeah, that's what I said too.
I know you said it, I was just repeating it.
Oh boy. protect them. I chew it up and spit it out and repeat it. It's not a treat, the troll is beat. Just one of the ways that I defeat it. Stayed in my groove when there's a troll on the move. Just takes a second to remove, 'cause every time I conclude, that troll is gonna lose. Nice try, lizard eye, I see you creeping on the sly.
What the hell was that, Mary Lou?
I was just trying to sing the rap, you know? Why couldn't I sing it?
But it's terrible that way.
Gosh, Mary, you're so mean to me, John boy.
Are you really crying?
No.
Then why'd you do that?
Well, to get sympathy from the people watching.
I can hear you say that, Mary Lou.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Mary Lou, come on. Jeez. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. you mean, are you talking about John Boy, Zozo? Come on.
Hello? Where is everybody? Everybody's gone home. Nobody cares about me anymore.
Oh, why should they? You're always so mean to everybody.
Well, they don't hear me being mean to you.
Yes, they do. They can hear it the whole time. My mic isn't muted.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, John Boy, you're the greatest person in the world, man. You're awesome.
Oh, man. What a load of crap.
All right, you guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And until next time, be safe out there.